Let's do this. Summer's Clover. That's what that cool. Still in the good old 4-3. So I think we play as a girl in this. The one of the athletic girls that doesn't have like a whole arm, or she has one arm and then one of them's like a stump, and then we can date Hisao or the narcoleptic girl. So see how that goes. Hoping it doesn't crash or isn't shit, basically. But you know, I've always believed that there are many kinds of people. Those who calmly stroll through their uneventful lives, the ones who meander from this interest to another, they they who walk in the shadows of others, more notable than themselves, and so on. As for me, I was the type who ran. The people I wanted to be with, what I wanted to do with my life, where I wanted to be. I knew the answers to all those questions. I had my worries and concerns, of course, but those meant nothing when living with such a purpose. My ambition was what set me free. For those fleeting years of my childhood, I was unstoppable. 3 years ago, that world ended. But, like, you don't need an arm to run, right? Fuck. Just move my monitor down a bit. Act 1, The Runner. It's got the sound check and everything. Hold on. Whoa, hold up. That's quite loud. You saw nothing. There we go. That was a bit loud. I don't know what other sound there is, but also forward time. No. The rattle of a can hitting the vending machine rings out across the empty school grounds. With the orange of sunset settling over the campus, everyone's retreated to their dormitories and homes for an early start in their studying and various hobbies. Without much else to do, I wander through the garden while drinking to make the best of the unusually quiet surroundings. Summer's biting particularly hard this year. At least that's what everyone's been complaining about lately. I don't really see the problem, but I've always been more used to hot weather than others. With little around me to think about beyond the occasional sip from the can, my mind turns to something that has been bugging me. Every day feels the same. The school week begins, I attend classes, school week ends, lays around for the weekend, and then it all repeats once more. Stagnant is probably the best word for it, dude, I feel you. It's not that I hate such a life compared to how I lived before, it's something I feel I should probably treasure. But my life is also finite. No matter how blissfully unaware I am of it, time still passes. Maybe it's summer holidays that to focus my thinking, or maybe the exams beforehand. Either way, this way of living will end. Emerging through the line of trees separating the track from the main grounds, the movement of a lone person immediately catches my eye. I don't know if the other girls are going to be in it. I mean, I assume Emmy will play a part because of like the whole track thing, but I hope like all the other girls are in it. But I don't know. His figure casts a long shadow in the evening's light as he slowly runs along the far side of the track. Looks like it's hard going, with his arms swaying to and fro as he valiantly pushes himself onwards. I idle up to the side of the track and take another swig. It's a welcome distraction from my troubling thoughts. Apparently the art is a little bit all over the place. It's done by like different people and taken from different places, but the fact this exists at all is exciting. As he comes around the corner, it's possible to finally get a good look at him. I'd recognise those dishevelled locks of the Hisao anywhere. While his natural habitat may be the classroom, I've seen him fluttering around the track alongside Emmy a couple of times before. Dressed as always in his shirt, it's going to be like a bit gay because I'm like dating a. Well, I'm going to go for the girl if I can, but it's gonna the language and stuff. It's going to be weird. I haven't read a visual novel from the girl's point of view before. We're going gay, hell yeah. Bone me Hisao. Dressed as always in his shirt without the bothersome jacket, it's clear that he has a nice build. That said, despite his solid chest and broad shoulders, there's an unassuming air to him. Perhaps it's due to his rather plain face, okay, or just his subdued nature from having recently changed school. Without anything in particular to say to the boy, I just take another sip of my drink as he continues up the track. Watching him, staring at him, judging him. Maybe the normal thing to do here would be to cheer him on for throwing himself at the track with such gusto, but it really doesn't look like he's enjoying the ordeal. His running form is becoming worse and worse, and his speed is noticeably slowing. Even the bird that swooped down to peck at something left in the grass doesn't bother moving as he runs by. It reminds me of how I used to throw myself at the track, running however many laps I could before I broke from exhaustion. I moved to take another swig from my can as he comes back around, only to find it lacking. With my attention briefly diverted from his side to my sadly empty drink, I'm taken mildly off guard as he stumbles off the track and comes to a haphazard stop just ahead of me. Okay, okay, that's weird. That doesn't look like Hisar. Can I help you? Not knowing if he'd be able to hear me past his panting, I let him collect himself for a few seconds before answering. Just watching. Yeah, I can see that. I don't know if I should give the girl like a girly voice because it's also like I'm not gonna do it for like the internal dialogue. I guess I could do it a little bit for like when she's talking. Otherwise, like these two are just gonna sound the exact same. He clutches at his knees and tries his best to regulate his breathing. Wait, is he? Okay, I guess they haven't got like all the art assets because he wouldn't be running in this, would he? He clutches at his knees and tries his best to regulate his breathing, but it's in vain. It's when he clutches at his chest and his breathing noticeably rises in pitch that I start to get a bit worried. You okay? Looks like you kind of overdid it there. I'm fine, totally fine. If he's going to be like that, all I can do is take a step back and let him recuperate. Beyond his breathing and a slight breeze in the trees, there's nothing to be heard. It reminds me of just how alone we are, likely being the only two people in the entire school grounds right now. After who knows how much time, he finally manages to compose himself and stand upright, sweat still trickling down the side of his face. There's a sickly wheeze to his breathing, but I don't think he wants to be reminded of it. You're alright, I'm Hisar Nakai, the mysterious transfer student himself. Pleased to meet you. What brings you out here anyway? Just grabbing a drink, you? Missed my morning run. Ibarazaki, I think that's Emi, said I should run in the evening to make up for it. Don't worry, I know Emi. Damn near all the school does. I nod towards the track, the bird still out there trying to drag a leftover food packet away. Just how long have you been out here? Oh well, I should probably cut my losses and get dinner, but she'd kill me if I skipped out. Man, just give up. Come to think of it, this might be a good chance. Dinner alone is boring, and if I can twist him into paying for a meal, all the better. What a bitch. If you're hungry, I know a good place if you're up for it. He looks a little startled by the suggestion, running a hand through his hair as he tries to settle himself down and think things through. I can practically see the gears turning in his head as he selects his choice. Come on, a hot girl's asking you to eat with her. You gonna refuse that? Oh, I'm a bit spicy, alright. They say modesty is a virtue. Never said I was a virtuous person. Maybe may as well wait things out as he continues with his deliberation, as I'm pretty confident I know what his reply will be. Sure enough, he finally comes up with an answer. Fine, I'll go along with you. Already got a date. See, that's how easy it is for girls. You just ask and you get an answer instantly. We've been talking for 30 seconds, it already got a date. Crazy. The Shanghai's location within the nearby town has always been convenient. I had thought even this might be too much for Hisar given his exhaustion, but he managed to drag himself here just fine. I hope we see Yuki? You're moving fast now, right? Maybe this spin-off is like a 20-minute game. We get a bone in like 10 minutes. I like the uniforms they have here, even if they do strike me as a little unconventional. This seems like a new track. I feel like I don't remember this one. I have the whole OST like ingrained in my memory, and as soon as I hear one, I'm like, oh my god. Stop crying. Our meal's placed before us. The waitress takes her leave to attend to a handful of other customers as the opposite end of the cafe. Maybe I do actually. That's just like an arrangement. Not being especially hungry, my meal is just a slice of pie and a drink. Hisar's pack of sandwiches don't look like it will last for long. One of them has already disappeared into his mouth. It's called eating love. He catches me staring, awkwardly holding the next mid-air whilst looking wildly embarrassed. Sorry, it's normal to be hungry after exercise, man. Go ahead and stuff your face. Hisar obediently does so. So we're like a dummy mommy. Okay. Though with a touch more delicacy than before. So, what's the story of Emi, anyways? So I like fucked her in the storage room. I think we did anal because there was like no condoms about or something. Oh, sorry. I mean, what? She just pushes me to exercise with her sometimes because she enjoys the company. I mean, like you do now. Doesn't seem like you enjoy the experience much. Well, I do want to get back into shape as much as I can anyway. He pulls his scarf up his arm a little, taking a loose flab of skin from his forearm and giving it a pinch as he frowns. He sure is pale under his shirt. We already got his shirt off? Jesus. Though maybe I'm not the best judge of that. Yeah, she's like pretty dark skin, I'm pretty sure. You sure found the right person if you want to be whipped into shape. Just make sure she doesn't kill you first. Believe me, she's come close. His tone is way too serious for a throwaway joke. Surely she's not that much of a slave driver. Taking a bite into my own food, it turns out I'm surprisingly hungry myself. The two of us end up stuffing down our food in no time. Crumbs littering the table in the aftermath. Can you let me know if the music ever gets too loud? Because they're always a bit... the levels of the songs are a bit different, and I don't want it to ever, like, be overbearing. Or, you know. With dinner finished, Hisao leans back in his seat and contentedly pats his stomach. Does anybody actually do that? Just eating like, yes. I run my finger around the inside of my mouth to work out the remnants stuck to my teeth. Oh, I fucking hate that, man. Savoring the taste of the last little bits I managed to find. Okay, that's a bit nasty. At first, I take Hisao staring out the window to be a sign of boredom, but one careless glance gives his game away. He's trying to distract himself from the bandaged stump resting on the table. I'd hardly think worse of someone for looking at it. Being distracted by something out of the ordinary is completely normal. I just give a smile, hoping to make him relax a bit. Sorry. Believe me, you're not the first to notice. It's not like a missing hand is exactly subtle. Hoping and succeeding to diffuse the situation a bit, I grin and waggle my stump in the air a little to emphasize the point. It's delightfully easy to read Hasao's emotions, even when he's trying his best to suppress them. I still have no idea what to make of this place. Town or Yamaku? He just raises an eyebrow. What's the problem with it? I think confronting would probably be the right word. It's not every day you see someone with half their face heavily scarred or have to try and communicate with someone who can't hear. Then there's the obvious example, Emmy. Well, I mean, you're not wrong. Being a transfer student would make that a lot worse too. Try coming at that from another angle though. What are we doing? What are we doing now? Chatting at a cafe. And what do you do today before that? Woke up, got dressed, went to classes, had lunch and tea in the club room, more classes, went to run on the track, and then started chatting with you. Isn't that a pretty normal high school day? My god, she's right. He moves to protest, but finds himself searching for words. However reluctantly it may be, he backs down once he realizes that I have a point. You'll get used to it soon enough. If everyone else at school seems cool with it, that's only because we've all had a head start of years. If I accidentally offend someone, I almost did just then, remember? Oh, and if I offend someone, then so what? Just find someone else to talk to. There's hundreds of people here to pick from. Hell, you're talking to me easily enough. Pretty normal high school, huh? Exactly, just pick up some friends, find your groove, and ride the rest of the year out. You'll be fine. He turns to look out the window, reflecting on the conversation. That expression of contemplation suits him well. Evidently coming to a conclusion, he gives me a nod before turning back to me. Thanks, I'll keep that in mind. The smile he gives me is kind of sweet. Weak, but terribly sincere. All I can do is respond is give him a satisfied grin back. Such a chance meeting might not change much for me, but if I can help Hisao get on the right track, at least I'll have been useful to someone. The weather really is nice today. Do a cheeky little quick save. I find myself lazily sitting at the base of a particular... Yeah, like this one's quite quiet. It's like not even picking it up. I find myself lazily sitting at the base of a particular tree in the school gardens, making the most of the shade while watching the goings on ahead. With the events over and medals dispensed, the people gathered for the track meet have now fanned out over the grounds. Runners excitedly talk with their friends and parents, with the handful who have romantic interest in other participating in school using the opportunity to catch up on more affectionate matters. It's nice, in fact. I prefer this atmosphere to the competitive nature of the track meet itself. People just catching up with others, having a nice time, as the importance of who won or lost whichever race fades away. Without much else to do, I idly toyed with the medal on my chest. First place was a lost cause. Amy's in another league when it comes to sprinting, after all. I thought I was Hisao for a second. I'm like, why the fuck are you competing like with sprints? You're gonna kill yourself. And I remember like, oh yeah, I did. Yeah, someone else. First place was a lost cause. Emmy's in another league when it comes to sprinting, after all. Silver still ain't bad, especially given that I'm hardly the competitive type to begin with. Yeah, just brush it off. I wonder what metal this thing is actually made out of. Tin, maybe? I flick it a couple of times to try and gauge the sound, but it's no use. Yo, it's red! Look it up! A shadow A shadow crossing my vision grabs my attention, but I needn't have bothered looking. The owner just keeps on walking towards the main building, her empty sleeves swaying in the breeze. Looking back to where she came from, I see a familiar face slowly strolling around the grounds. Given that he isn't in gym uniform, he's probably only here because of Emmy. It's red, you idiot! To go! God damn it! I feel a little bad for him. Sure, he's around student council and Emmy a lot, but that feels more like he's being bossed around than actually choosing to hang out with friends. Well, I'm innocent, I guess. The thought of something some of the guys in the club had hastily arranged comes to mind as I mull over the situation. I come to my feet after making my decision, striding past a gaggle of gossiping girls and calling out to him. Oh, Mira, hey. Got dragged here by the shorty, eh? Oh, was she talking about Hisao? I thought she was talking about Red. Hisao just hangs his head and I saunter up to him. He's pretty transparent. It's always struck me how out of place Hisao seems around the track club and other sports stuff. He said he liked soccer when he introduced himself in class, but it's kind of hard to imagine such a passive and subdued lad running around a field and being boisterous. It makes me wonder what he'd be doing with himself if Emmy weren't dragging him around by the scruff of the neck. At least she put on a show for you. Has she always been that good at sprinting? Yep. She put in hours of the track, so it ain't no surprise that it pays off. Fastest thing on no legs and all that. Still, it looks like you did fine yourself. It's something. You hang around the club and look decently built. I'm surprised you didn't run in some race or another. You saw me the other day on the track, didn't you? The face he pulls makes me feel bad for bringing it up. This being Yamako, it isn't hard to think up reasons why you might have problems in that area. Forget I asked, there is another reason I wanted to talk with you actually. Most of the track clubs go into a karaoke place this evening to hang out. I'm not singing. There's space for you if you want to come. Hisao looks genuinely startled, but I think in a good way. I was going to study. You're taking that away from me? Come on, it'll be fun. Some of the other guys want to know who you are too, you know? I somehow doubt I'm that interesting. Mysterious transfer student who keeps hanging around the track with Emmy. What's there not to be curious about? He waves a little, but eventually throws his arms up in surrender. Alright, you got me. I'll come. See, so easy. The moment we all entered the dimly lit room, we started acting as if... I can't place the song exactly, but I'm pretty sure it's from Guitar Hero 3. I don't remember. That's funny though. The moment we all entered the dimly lit room, we started acting as if we were home. People laid on the couches, draped themselves over their arms and backs to talk to friends, threw snacks and drinks bottles to each other, and generally made a din from all the arguing over the day's events. Oh my god, what is this song? No, I don't know. Now that some time has passed with the excitement and adrenaline of the track meet ebbing, things have finally settled down a little. The dozen people around make do with gossiping while lounging around on their garishly coloured seats, occasionally cheer or jeer at whoever's up front, belting out some crappy song or another, and busily chat the night away. Not that I'm excluded, with his house seated to my right, speaking up to be heard over the atrocious number being tugged to a chorus of laughs and teasing. Solo. If you don't mind me asking, where are the girls from club? I'm sure I saw a couple beside Emmy at the track meet, but only the guys are here. It's a sausage fest. What, you looking to pick up? I just transferred in. I don't move that quickly. Yeah, I'm not. Come on, you could do worse than the girls in the track club. Fitness does wonders for you know what after all. He gives me a flat face, but I detect a hint of embarrassment, and I guess he's a bit of a prude. They're just busy, supposedly. Maybe it was too much of a sausage fest. That's why I literally said like 30 seconds ago. Too much of a sausage fest for them. He moves to say something, but as the guy's singing, isn't that what like? No, maybe not. I don't know. I've never heard of like a girl saying like a sausage fest is bad. Surely that's the equivalent of like a guy going to a party and there's too many girls. Like, isn't that what they want? Only guys say that sausage fests with other guys. He moves to say something, but as the guy singing ends his round, the next beckons for Hisao to join him as he walks up to the mic. Yukio Hasagawa, nothing less than perhaps the most popular guy in track club. He's always cut graceful figure for a man, bearing slim, refined eyes, impeccably groomed hair, and a gentle face. Far from my type, but other girls seem to gush over him. The others in the room, whether out of curiosity, friendliness, or teasing, quickly join in to try and make Hisao perform. The guy himself doesn't look enthused, but I suspect that's as much due to the pressure as the actual act. You should do it. What you got to lose? Only like being humiliated for the rest of school and keeping that with you for the rest of your life. It's fine. My dignity, I can't sing, you know. What, you think any of us can? Stop being lame and just have some fun. Man, she's like a bully. I put my hand on his back and give him a sharp push off his ass, jogging him into the center of the room. It's only momentary, but as he recovers, he throws an odd glance back to me afterwards. His anxious, almost scared face leaves me speechless. Go for the ass grab right away, I know, right? This was a guy, it'd be sexual harassment. Everything returns to normality in a flash. The boy taking a breath before marching around the table and up to the mic with a back hunched and feet dragging, waving down the chairs of those around him as he does. Whatever was going on in his head, it was far beyond just being shy. With nobody else seemingly have noticed, all I can do is sit back puzzled in my seat and take a swig from the soft drink in front of me. As the music starts and the vocals kick in, it becomes obvious that the two are far from practiced at this. Their voices might not be bad, but they're horrendously out of key. Sao's shyness is getting the better of him too, which only makes him look worse next to Yukio's confident demeanor. On the corner of my eye, I noticed the guy to my left leaning forward, his face turned to mine. Jesus Christ! Is that Haruhi Suzumiya? What the fuck? How was this song? Is fucking Grease Lightning or whatever? Named Haruyuki, though everyone calls him Haru, he's a fellow classmate who also had the misfortune of being stuck on the first row of tables. While he may be quite gifted physically, that's a dude. I think so. Yeah, I think this is the star dude track guy. While he may be quite gifted physically, being decently tall and strong, he looks like a midget. Let's be real. He's far from the sharpest tool in the shed. It matters little though, as his endearing, cheerful nature and eternal optimism cover for whatever shortcomings he may have. So what's the over-under on the new guy? I set the drink back on the table, my hand rubbing my neck as I lean back. I don't know what answer he's expecting, but I doubt I'll be able to give him any. You're asking me? You're the one who invited him, you know? He paid for my lunch, so I felt like I owed him. That's all there is to it. Reward him in humiliation. Nice. The corner of his mouth tugs upwards just a little. You being honourable, that's a first. Prick. So do you know anything about him? All I know is that he's a nerd who gets bossed around by the shorty and the student council. True. Heard he used to play soccer, not half bad at it either. Used to? Something wrong with this? Haru glances to the two at the front of the room, both of them being far too distracted with their attempts to make something resembling a decent song to pay us much heed. Satisfied that we're communicating in private, he jabs at his chest with his thumb a couple of times. He had a heart attack, real bad too. Emmy'd probably know more, or the guy himself. He adds the last suggestion as an afterthought, though understandably so. Plenty of the young who have their bugbears about what's happened to them in the past. What the fuck? I've never heard that word before. Though I'd be damn hypocritical to complain about it. Come on, a heart attack at that age? It happens. I expect him to admit that what he heard was some vague rumor or something, but he just shrugs and looks at me matter-of-factly. What would Hisao be? 17? 18? He's definitely legal, so he's 18 at least. Come on, let's not throw that number around here. That's the kind of things you hear taking out frail old folks, natural causes and all that. Now that I think of it, maybe that explains why he got puffed so easily back when I saw him at the track. Shit. Oh, that's why she was like, oh, you should run next time. She didn't know. It's kind of pathetic, but that's all the response I can muster as I lean back in my seat. Haru just lets a dissatisfied sigh, equally put off by the idea. Looking back at the duo finishing up their song at the front of the room, I can't help but see him in a new light. Wait, I thought he was one of the dudes that was doing the duo, was it not? If I had to choose which room embodied the feeling of this school the most, it would have to be the library. Oh, is Hanako here? It looks normal at a glance. Large, sure, but otherwise normal. It's only when you start walking through the aisles that you realise the odd little allowances for students. Audiobooks, braille books, wider passages, and the like. Then there's the cane or two propped against the desks of reading students. There's also the old-fashioned stuffiness too. Doesn't help that the literature club students are all quiet as mice, but it's something more than that. The furniture, staff, and general mustiness of the older books are all stifling. This is a narcoleptic girl, I think. My eyes eventually fall on the girl across the table from me. Unremarkable would perhaps be the best description of how she appears, save for the bags under her eyes and brace on her knee. For Yomiko, though, that's doing pretty well. If I had to choose which pose embodied the personality of Suzu the most, it would have to be her chin resting on her hand as her eyes lazily scan the manga magazine in front of her. The girl looks up, her eyes meeting my own. Her reaction, on lack thereof, is about what I'd expect. Staring is rude. I don't know how you put up with this place. Don't you have anything more exciting to do with yourself? She sighs as I start to rock back and forth in my chair to occupy myself, with nobody else willing to brave the heat. The track club's been largely abandoned for the day. I can think of better things to do than throw myself around an empty track. Then again, the literature club sure makes a dull sight. The closest thing I can see to an actual club activity is half a dozen students sitting around a table quietly discussing some book or another. Fucking nerds. Why don't you join them? Following my nod, she glances to the side and back with a minimum of effort, not even bothering to lift her head from her hand. Because I'm busy reading this, can't you see, you fucking idiot? Isn't literature club for discussing literature? It's a library though, like, just let her read. Most of us just read whatever, as long as we're quiet and in the library. Nobody really cares. So that's all you're gonna do? Read manga? I was sincerely hoping she'd suggest something for us to do, or maybe even socialise, but she simply shrugs and goes back to reading. It's hard to say whether it's out of apathy or being too tired to do much more than that. Then again, I'd be more surprised if I could gauge her feelings. The kind way to describe her would be ambivalent. I think that's right. But after a year of being around her, I've settled on a diagnosis of possible lobotomy. Jesus, that's harsh. The air of quiet disapproval never seems to leave her. As she slowly turns the page and continues her reading, a familiar voice draws my attention to the end of the library. The tense voice of Ikazawa, hunched over... Ikazawa. That's Hanaka, I think. Hunched over on a beanbag in a usual little corner, isn't difficult to distinguish. Hisawa sits on the floor beside her, and oh, he's already in there. A disarming smile on his face as he softly tries to chat. I can't quite pick out their conversation, but the fact that they're having one at all is pretty impressive. This seems like it's taking place alongside his route. That he's just... I don't know how long he's been here, actually. But I assume that was when they first met, maybe, or one of the first times. Susie turns back around as I stop my gawking, her own interest apparently having been piqued. She seems to like him. Yeah, they get on well. I might say that, but I have my misgivings. There's more than one story of when girls have tried getting close to her, only for things to go bad for all involved. How much of that is actually true or just gossip, I have no idea, but it's plainly obvious she has a lot of baggage. It might be rather hypocritical, but I don't have much want to get involved. With the way I am, it could only go badly. Isao comes to his feet as their conversation apparently ends, returning from their sanctuary at the end of the library. As he walks by us, a couple with thick novels held to his side, gave a short whistle and motioned for him to come over. If I could whistle, I would. Wow, she's a midget. Holy shit. Odd to see you here. Well, aren't you quick on the uptake? Come on, take a seat. I need someone for company who has still some life left in them. Yikes. She's fucking getting drive-bys here. Hisawa obediently does so, taking a seat and plopping his books down in front of him. A couple of sci-fi novels by the looks of them. Not terrible taste, an improvement over Suzu's girly stuff anyway. Suzu briefly takes his head from her chin to see the new face. I decided to seize the chance. Isao, this is Suzu Suzuki. He gives a warm greeting, to which Suzu simply gives a quiet nod, having reverted to her more shy self. He seems a little more sedate than the other friends from track club, so hopefully she'll open up to him a little more than them, given time. So, you're a weeb, huh? Are you? A little, to be honest. I don't really follow any of the serialized stuff anymore. I see. So you're a casual. With Suzu leaving no opening for the conversation to continue. Hisao leans back from the table in disappointment and reaches for one of his books. It's a little sad to see things end this way, and I have told her not to be so antisocial. The fuck? Did she just grow? Frustrated, I lean over the table, close my fist, and begin rubbing my knuckles into the top of her head. Oh, I thought she was gonna, like, fucking knock you out. Ow, ow, ow. Miki? What have I told you about being like that? I'm not you. So they're like friends, I'm guessing? If they're like this close, they seem like a weird pairing. I thought they'd just sort of like, I don't know, just occasion, like acquaintances. I'm not using much force at all, but her reaction's enough to make me back off rather quickly. She is kind of a bully, isn't she? I wouldn't like her. The point's been made in any case. So you're into shoujo then? Is that bad? It's normal enough. Watch the shows. Yeah, this one's getting an adaptation soon, which I'll have to catch. Doesn't that stuff air pretty late? My sleep schedule's all over the place anyway. He's clearly resisting snark given how tired she visibly looks, but wisely thinks better of it. Didn't get much of that stuff on TV back where I came from. So you used to read it, Hasa? It was good for killing time while wandering down. Didn't spend much time at home. Your parents didn't mind? Both of them work long hours, so not really. There's a gulf between their concept of what parents would allow, but it's understandable. For someone as pampered as Suzu, being let to wander so much must have been a pretty strange idea. I suppose Hisao's a bit like me in that regard. Well, at least someone's familiar with that scene. Had practically none of that stuff back home, so it's largely foreign to me. Speaking of people's homes, I see you were visiting Haneko's little corner, trying to make inroads with her. Trying is the key word there. Don't look so beaten. You can hold a conversation with her, right? That's more than anyone else in the class has managed so far. That's more to our friend's credit than mine. You really need to learn how to accept praise. My reply is a bit crabby, and admittedly not only because it's a bad habit. Haneko's friend could only be referring to one person, the pretty blonde that she often meets after class. I'm a little jealous of him for getting so close to her so easily. Based Lily. You know, you say it's weird to see me here, but what about you? Reading's my main hobby. And running? That's more like a sentence. It's only because we're in the library that I stifle a laugh. Suzu might try to hide it, but the flick of a smirk flashes on her face as well. True bonding, though, through the misery of others. I guess you're all set for exams then. Why do you say that? You're with me too all the time, you know. Guys got high hopes. You get ridiculous marks from most of your subjects too. That's because I work for them. Bitch. This guy catches on way too quickly. I might not pay attention in class, but he doesn't have to burn me like that. Burn like Haneko's face. So as well. Suzu's attention is finally rested from her reading material. It's finally rested? Is that a word? I've never seen that before. Looking genuinely impressed, as much as her stony face can anyway. That's harsh, man. You're strongest in math and science, correct? Yeah. So could you look at something I couldn't get when we go back to class? See, all these girls are just like hitting on him, like no problem. Jesus, no wonder he had like fucking 5 girls at his fingertips. Sure, no problem. Doesn't hurt to work it out before exams come up. Exams. Ugh, hate that word. The mood of the class has already begun to sour thanks to the anxiety and stress they cause, and it's only going to get worse in the weeks ahead. At least they're useful for something. If studying is going to be how she expands her social circle, then all the better. Given how hard she works for her rather average marks, maybe he can help turn things around. I've always found the cafeteria to be a fun place to watch people, deftly manoeuvring through the rapidly filling room after being among the first to have their tray filled by the old ladies behind the counter. I can't help but glance around at the other students on my way to a free table. I wonder if the sound thing it is. Alright. We'll turn that down because the muttering's a bit loud. Did I read that? Yeah, I did. I can't help but glance around the other students on my way to a free table. By rights, the cafeteria should be a melting pot. Students from every club, class, condition, and year level are here. And with everyone in their uniforms, the differences between rich and poor, country and city, fashionable and unfashionable, fades to nothing. But people being people, they still find a way to stick to their cliques. The track club members form a clump as they playfully jostle one another, as do a bunch of the deaf students huddling together in their impenetrable little social circle while signing their silence second language. There are the gaggles of popular girls with their posses, and the odd trio of less popular girls who stick to their few friends, the rowdy class clowns who loudly joke and act out, and the softly spoken academics who keep themselves while shuffling along. Everyone has their niche, even if that niche consists of only one. Setting down my tray at an empty table, I separate the disposable chopsticks using the tips of my fingers as always. Strength comes in surprisingly useful when you largely rely on one hand for manipulation, with the two conjoined sticks easily split apart. While I'd hesitate to say it's great, the food here is still pretty good. Filling and by far satisfying enough to live on for quite a while. Can't complain about the price either. It doesn't take long for company to arrive after I've started eating. A familiar figure silently seating herself across the table from me. Suzu simply begins to eat without a word. Such things aren't unusual for her, so I simply look down and continue with my own lunch. As I shovel rice into my mouth, I find myself especially pleased with how they've cooked it today. Not too dry, not too sticky. Ditching the chopsticks and gulping down some soup, it turns out that they've done a good job on that too. Whether Suzu's enjoying her lunch as much as I is, as always, a mystery. Looking past her, two of the three stooges come into sight. With my hand taken, I end up waving my stump around in the air to get their attention. Does the job with the duo changing course and heading our way. Oh god, it's him.
Afternoon, Miki Suzuki.
He's so big. What? This is so stupid. I hate this guy. Suzu pauses her eating to nod to the both of them. Maybe the other characters like aren't in this because there's definitely been places where we could have seen. Well, we saw Em and we saw Rin, so I don't know. But we could have seen Emmy already in Hanako, so I don't really know if they're going to be in this. I don't see why they wouldn't be since they have all the assets for it already. I don't know. Suzu pauses her eating to nod to the both of them, as do I. Isao moves around to take a seat beside me with his juice and a packet of bread. Yo, the girl looks familiar. She's the narcoleptic girl, so she probably has some fan stuff of her. Oh, the one on the left? Yeah. It looks like Haruhi Suzumiya. Yeah. This is a guy, by the way. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Haruhi Suzumiya. Yeah. How you doing, by the way? While Haru maneuvers himself to the end of the table, holding a suspicious plain cardboard box with equally suspicious care. What's with that? Oh wait, that's it.
What's with that?
Oh, Haru just shrugs as I lean over and ask him. Haru just gleams a smile in response, setting down the mystery box and lifting the top off with practiced ease. That looks weird, but nice. Why didn't they put a filter on it? Like, it couldn't have been that hard. Okay, I'm a leaf. Fuck that shit. Doing great. 4 weeks till I go. Ooh, exciting. As the sides fall away, a gorgeous looking red and white sponge cake is revealed. A thick layer of cream separates the two layers of sponge, and another sits atop the cake. Big succulent strawberries circle the outer rim, each sitting on its own further blob of cream. Finally, I like dusting of frosting that covers the cake like a thin shower of snow. It's beautiful, as expected of Haru. Wait, he's like making the cakes as well? What? I'm confused. You're drooling.
Don't care, give me that thing.
He might be criticizing me, but Suzu's attention is just as focused. Her sweet tooth is getting the better of her as the cafeteria food before her languishes.
Right, just hold on a minute.
Wait, I think I read something wrong. He takes the plastic knife cunningly carried inside the box and sets about cutting a few slices. Looks like the cake's already had a good third eaten. So what's the story? Whose? Let's start with the cake. Made too. Haru made too much. He sings in the third person. Haru made too much during home ec class. The teacher doesn't mind me baking my own stuff there as long as she gets some. So you're into baking?
Sure am. Might not have many talents, but I'm good at the ones I have.
I thought he was one of the track guys. Did he not? As he gets back to cutting it up, I look around for an answer to the second question on my own. Where the third stooge has gotten himself to? As my eyes fall on him, I can't help but give him a weak grin. Suzu notices my staring and twists her head around to see, but turns back to the cake in short measure. Oh. Okay. I don't know who any of these people are. They're cute though. And the art's like way better than... I'm guessing these aren't even characters, but like they're way better than the ones we've seen. Sure enough, he's standing around chatting to a couple of girls. I might not see the appeal in his appearance, but I can admit he pulls off an air of confidence well, even without hearing what he's saying. Going by the bashful smile of the long-haired girl as she toys with her hair and the others excited chatting, he makes a good progress with both. Oh, I string them both along. Damn. See, compared to these three fucking idiots, come on. Ugh. Is he always like that? I swear he was with a couple of other girls last week. Believe me, you have no idea. Some people bake, some run, some study, and some pick up women, apparently. As if he had heard me. What you fucking say about me, pug? Yukio looks up from his companions to see Hisao and I stare, and since an escape, he nods to us and seemingly explains that he wants to come our way. He wants the cake. The girl with longer hair is about to follow him over before her friend stops her, gesturing at me while frowning. It's hard to be hurt by something you deserve, and as they both quickly decide to walk off, I can take solace in that at least my reputation's helped Yukio. Top, see ya. Like, all done by a different artist. And how it's today, ladies and gentlemen. Good? Good. Good. Fuck. Oh my god, everybody's got a different voice. Good. Don't be too enthusiastic now. Okay. He takes a seat beside Suzu, giving her a brief, disarming smile as he does. She visibly wilts despite doing her best to avoid doing so. Haru looks back to the cake, but frowns as he begins to cut another slice.
Well, we have one more slice and we have people. Should have worked that out first.
Dibs on the double portion.
Piss off, Suzuki gets double.
Thank you. Hold on, what's the criteria here? Is it because she's a girl? I'm a girl too, bitch.
I like a young girl, yes.
Oh, fuck, that's what you did with the number on my throat. What about me? I'm a girl too.
Only when it suits you.
Fuck's that supposed to mean? I get up out of my chair to get some height over it, which you respond to it kind and pull out my massive cock. Wait, what? Oh yeah, how about you? How about you try having periods?
Wait,
I'm trying to. He said like, oh,
piss off.
Piss off. Look at me, I'm a man. Oh no, I have to shave my face. I have dreams that give me orgasms. How terrible. I mean, it sucks. Shut the fuck up, Miki.
Well, maybe you would be treated like a girl if you actually acted like one.
Huh? What's that? I can't hear you over bleeding from my genitals and feel like I've been sucker punched in the gut once a month. Alright. Calm down. Why does it keep going over his thing? I can't tell if he's being cut off or it's just like being weird. Can I not? Oh god, that's completely unreadable. Who thought this was a good idea? Wait, that's not even like... That wasn't even the last line.
Yep.
Oh my god, that's... Oh my god, this is really annoying.
You're making my point for me. If you didn't go on about your bloody periods while we're eating, we'd...
Maybe I had more like a girl once I got free crap for being one. Oh, okay, fair. I was gonna say... Miki, you, please. Hisao looks to Suzu for help as we snarl at each other, but all she's doing is burying her face in her palm and trying not to exist. I want to thump Yukio for being an ass, but in contrast to the busy hum of students of before, the sudden silence around us reminds me that we're in the cafeteria. Submitted to Hisao's begging, we both fall back into our seats, neither of us admitting that the argument is over. As if the altercation had never happened, Haru passes the extra slice to Suzu, earning a shy nod of thanks. It only serves to make Yukio all the more pissed for some reason, but before I can step in to defuse the situation, Hisao does the job for me. What brings you here anyway, Yukio?
Oh, it's a woeful tale. A terrible curse has struck me yet again. Day after day this happens, and only so rarely can I find refuge from its grip. I've got too many bitches.
He's totally making an ordeal out of this, clutching at his chest and emoting as hard as he can, even if it's for an audience of one. He still likes to play the orator. The fuck is an orator? It's a shame he stopped acting, really.
I'm just too popular.
What?
Girls just fall over themselves for me. It's been like this ever since high school started, and if anything, it's only become worse.
See, he's got a bitch problem.
Oh, what I would do to get those women off me. I tell them I'm not interested, but it only makes them try all the harder.
You can't be serious. Haru begins to come around each of our seats, setting down a slice before each of us before sitting beside his cell. I quickly tuck into mine as as soon as I can, the wonderful taste of cream and strawberries filling my mouth. Befriending this guy was one of the best decisions ever.
It's true, he ended up quitting drama and switched to the track club just to lower his profile.
Hisao suddenly clicks his fingers in a flash of insight. Ah, that explains it. I knew that face on the posters was yours. You must still work for them sometimes, right?
Yes, though it's mostly organising new recruits and helping with behind-the-scenes stuff. They probably just use my face to draw in a bigger crowd. I am so popular, it hurts.
His smile fails him as he looks down at the dessert, a cloud of despair hanging overhead. I wonder how many girls he'd get if he let this side of himself show through more often.
Man, it really is a pain. Those girls are so loud and obnoxious. I can't stand any of them.
I might not be the best judge, but I don't really understand your appeal, physically at least. You look like shit.
You don't?
You do? Okay, so he looks like a girl and he's gay, maybe? I see an opportunity to both tease him and stroke my own ego, and so take it without hesitation. So who do you think is hotter, me or Yukio? I lean around his sound, stare intently at Haru, with Yukio reluctantly doing the same. He actually might be gay. Yeah, I was thinking this surprisingly seriously. This one. Alright, I'm gonna say something out of pocket, but I won't. I was taking this surprisingly seriously, his head moving between our faces with a look of total concentration as he brings his fingers to his stubbled chin. Seconds pass with Hisao and Suzu's interest obviously peaked as they stare and eat some at the same time. Everybody's on tenterhooks as we await his judgment, with Yukio's face slowly moving further and further back.
I'll have to say Yukio, he's got a bigger dick.
I don't have a dick. I'm a little disappointed in that answer, but the look on Yukio's face more than makes up for it.
That's a joke, right? You are a guy. Not at all. I can definitely see why girls like you. Man, guys. You're the last person I wanted that kind of praise from.
Silent out of discomfort, Hisao finishes his cake and gives due compliments to Haru, which I hurriedly second. I was gonna do some like homophobic ad-libbing from him, but I won't. Come to think of it, haven't you got lots of female friends, Hisao? Maybe you could give the stud here some tips on how to friend zone like a pro. Yikes. Thanks. Look at that face.
I'm not interested in keeping them as friends. I just want them to piss off. Here.
He plucks the strawberry off his dessert and pops it on top of Suzu's uneaten slice. She doesn't even notice, given her attention being focused on to get through the first without dropping crumbs everywhere. He waits for a reaction to his act of kindness before giving up and hanging his head in defeat. I don't think Yukio is having a good day. Well, there you have it, Hisao. These are the losers I hang out with. Not so bad. Yeah, they are. They suck. Haru clamps onto Hisao's shoulders and gives him a playful shake. It's nice to see Hisao loosen up, even just for a little. What a gang that is. Jesus Christ. It's a show they all look different. Like art style wise. It's the classroom. Walking into class, my gaze immediately falls to Susie's desk. Each and every morning she enters class long before I do, and though I might have hoped to catch her, today is no different than any other. It's one of life's small wonders. I never did understand how someone in a perpetual state of sleep deficiency manages to get here on time every day. Well, it's not that I don't understand how, so as much as why. I suppose it's a lie to say that nothing at all is different though. Her head may be resting in her hand as it always is, but rather than looking out the window, her eyes are on the guy casually speaking with her in front of the desk. Suzu and Hisao took to each other surprisingly quickly. She doesn't seem particularly interested in actually conversing, but just giving him the time of day is more than she gives the other guys in the track and field club. Boorish, she calls them, which isn't wrong really. Yeah. The two of them react in unison to the sound of my voice. Hisao turning his body towards me. Oh, what's she reading there? I don't know. Not like I would. Hisao turning his body towards me as Suzu moves little more than her eyes. Their normal morning greetings come to a halt as soon as they begin. Suzu just sighs as his face, as it often does, turns to mild concern. You okay? Huh? He motions to his left cheek, my own fingers mirroring his outer reflex. It takes me to a second to realize what he's referring to. I haven't looked in the mirror, but there'd no doubt be a nice big bruise there right about now. I kind of got a bit rough with another club guy. We're cool, don't worry. Again? This happens often. You have no idea. I disarm him with a stupid grin as I scratch the back of my neck. Both of you seem rather accident-prone. Then again, maybe accident is the right term to use for you. The loud clasping of hands behind me would make me jump as if it were less obvious who said hands belonged to. As Mewtwo clears his throat and he tries to shepherd the gossiping class into their seats, Hisao obediently takes his leave of us and I turn to take my seat. The fact that he's addressing the class rather than me is cause for a mental sigh of relief. He wouldn't take kindly to casual talk of a scrap between students, and his classroom lectures are boring enough without being subjected to another on the subject.
Oh, and Mira, I'll see you after class.
Damn it. What a cunt. Jogging past the school gate, Susan and Hisao... Did she just leave, or did they just skip that scene? Jogging past the school gate, Suzu and Hisao can be seen patiently waiting for me, but now the main throng of leaving students has passed, reduced to little more than the occasional person or two. Have fun? Detention on Monday. What a pain in the ass. Oh, okay. At least it's Saturday, right? You've got a stay of execution. You've got a stay of execution for a couple of days. Whatever, let's just get lunch. Shanghai? Yeah, you okay with that, Hisao? Sounds good. The decision made, we set off down the hill for the local town. Man, these guys have just become buddy-buddy just instantly. I like this time of year. The weather hot with decent, but not overbearing humidity reminds me of home. It also means being able to wear summer outfits, which are far more comfortable than winter clothing. It's hard to tell if Susie's pitched in, but is because she's uncomfortable around Hisao or just because she hates the heat. She's a winter kind of person after all, in every way. Even Hisao, the rookie, looks more casual than she does. That said, he has the undeniable air of a tourist around him. Eyes flitting about, pace just slightly lower than what looks natural, head turning this way and that. Where you come from anyways? You aren't a local, that's for sure. At the city, quiet of places like this is a big difference. Ah, a city boy, shouldn't know. I take it you're from somewhere else then? He's a hick from up north. Hey! Well, aren't you? I don't want to let her get away with it, but from the interested face his house making, she already won this. We can't all be dainty, spoiled princesses. You make it sound like you're from out in the sticks or something. I am, dude. Tell you what, the first time wandering around the city near here was a big culture shock. His reaction is kind of charming. He had no idea at all what a country life is like, no doubt desperately minding his brain for any images that he can muster. Not that Suzu's any different. I don't really care to explain it to either of them. It's not something I take particular pride in, and bringing her there to visit would only cause problems. Oh yeah, I noticed you chatting with the guys in the track club yesterday. You ever going to actually join or what? Do I have to? I don't remember it being compulsory. That's not what I'm asking. Maybe I should just join the literature club and wash my hands of the whole thing. No, not those two. Yes, do that. The school hardly needs another jock running around. Oi, doesn't that make me a jock? To be fair, well, look at that smug face. I clapped the boy over the head, drawing protest from him. The last thing I need is another Susan in my case. So violent. Very violent. I'm beginning to think I've created a monster by bringing these two together. By the time we reach the Shanghai, I feel like I've run through a gauntlet with the both of them pecking away. Suzu throws the odd snark while alone, but she and Hisao egg each other on. I don't really hate it though. It's maybe even a little cute. The bell above the door gives its trademark rattle as we file in. The waitress is hurried, shuffling towards us, no less familiar. Looks like a place is mostly empty, save for a handful of other patrons. Maybe it's a good thing. It's if such a place can stay open for this many years and not shut down for the lack of customers. At least the staff aren't going to be too stressed. They keep their jobs. The town keeps its little odd cafe. Yay, it's Yuko. Which I always read that as bow, like when it always refers to bowing. So flinches from how close she comes to headbutting her. Welcome to the Shanghai. Please take a seat. I give a weak smile as we go, picking an empty window side table from amongst the many. Suzu shuffles into a seat and I slide in next to her, Hisao being relegated to the other side. You've been a few times now, right? You like it? The fact that Yuko's still here weirds me out a bit. Yeah, lots of people say that. She's pretty at least, right? Guess so. You gotta loosen up, man. You're a teenage guy. Nobody's gonna believe that you don't have an eye for the ladies. How shall I answer them? I don't know. I like her. I don't know. I like her tits. She's got nice thighs. Whatever. Yeah, be a man, little bitch. Yuko looking at us. Hey, you got great tits, love. No, thank God. I just smiled at them. Looks like he's going to be just as easy to tease as Suzu is. Such prim and proper people they are. As we both recover from their fit of modesty, a more important matter comes to mind. I want to help him back on his feet, but if he's going to be around for any length of time, he'll have to get used to Suzu as well, and vice versa. I stared to my companion beside me, making her tilt her head. Want to show him your party trick? She pauses for a moment to work out what I'm referring to. By her increasingly hesitant face, she's got the right idea. After thinking on it for a good while, with Hisel's face curiously looking on, she comes to the conclusion I've been hoping for. If he's going to be hanging around, I guess we have to. Show me what? I give him a disarming smile for a moment before suddenly turning beside me. Boo! All she does is raise an eyebrow. I have to admit I'm holding back a little. My mental block against it possibly hurting her isn't easy to get around. That isn't going to work if... Ah! Hisao leaping out of his... He's going to give him a heart attack. Like, calm down, dude. Hisao leaping out of his seat and hitting his fists to the table as he shouts up there in a careful way, given we're in public, has the intended effect. Suzu immediately jumps in fright. My own heart skipping a beat in sheer startlement. With barely a second delay, the life seemingly goes out of her. A sigh as the air from her lungs lazily passes her lips and is all to be heard as her small body goes limp in her seat. Her head jerks downward as all control goes out of her neck before her entire upper body falls forward. So by scaring her, she falls asleep. The fuck? With an audible thud, her forehead lands on the, and then like describing it like a party trick. That's really weird. With an audible thud, her forehead lands on the table without the slightest resistance. Her arms follow soon after, flopping haphazardly onto the surface. With this show over, the girl beside me now lays seemingly dead, save for the movement of her breathing. Sal looks mortified as if he himself had fired a bullet into her. Shocked from the sudden nature of what happened and extreme discomfort from a human being remaining limp in such an unnatural way are written on his face. I have to admit, for all I may be trying to play it cool, it still puts me off a little. I've never truly gotten used to this. Is she okay? She's fine. Welcome to cataplexy. Her muscles stop working when she gets shocked or has big emotions. It's like bang, you end up like a lifeless doll. Oh, okay. I never heard of that before. Part of her narcolepsy? Yep, it ain't always just sleeping, unfortunately. Cataplexy. He says the word slowly and carefully, making sure he engraves it onto his mind. He gives the word a lot of weight in the way he says it, which is good to see. Is it always like this? Well, Suzu's case is not light, to put it one way. Usually it's just like weak knees or not being able to keep your head up. I feel bad for saying it so plainly, even if Suzu would have done just the same if she were able to right now. She got dealt a really shitty hand, and saying so just makes it feel all the more real. He looks back to her for a moment, but it doesn't last long before covering his face with his hands and trying to recollect himself. I can't say I blame him. Sorry, this is just... It's cool. I had the same reaction as you when I first saw it happen. Hell of a trick, eh? Does she need to be snapped out of it somehow? Give her a minute or two and she'll be right as rain. No sooner do I say this than Susie begins to stir. Groaning slightly, she manages to move her arms to more comfortable positions before ever so slowly levering herself off the table. With a bit of time to reorientate herself and rub her eyes, she eventually comes back to the land of the living. Don't be sorry about how you reacted. I'm used to it. You heard everything? My muscles give out, not my senses, which can be all a pain of its own. How do you mean? When I get an attack, people often think I've had a seizure, fallen asleep, or fainted. It's not fun to be aware of what people are doing to your body while trying to wake you up, but unable to say anything. And that's why it's hardy to have someone around who knows all this stuff when you get an attack. Makes sense. To be honest, I know idea narcolepsy included something like that. How often does this happen, if you don't mind me asking? She just shrugs. It varies. Something is off about her answer. Whenever I've asked her questions about anything, but especially her narcolepsy, she always gives the most specific response she can. Partly because I pressured her into it so I could keep track. Given she has no reason to be vague for his sake, it makes me concerned that her attacks are getting worse and she's trying not to tell me. It's the kind of terrible attempt at secrecy she'd try. I'm guessing this is how you got the knee brace? Oh, she got a knee brace as well. I nodded her answer. His simple-mindedly curiosity is endearing, and Susie dutifully doles out answers in her usual dull and encyclopedic manner. Talking about it in a generic way doesn't seem to bother her, at least as far as I can tell. With this, Hisao's line of questioning appears to be at an end. His sit he sits back and thinks for a little, the footsteps of Yuko approaching our table, eventually reaching our ears. What would you like today? Coffee and a slice of pie, thanks. Same as him. Just tea, please. No problem, coming right up. With her usual sharp bow, she scuttles off behind the counter. I still can't decide if the uniforms here are dorky or nice, but it suits her somehow. Not only because it shows off her nice legs either. Her unusually chipper mood today makes her extra cute. The three of us end up waiting in silence for our drinks. Susie takes out her phone and begins tapping away at it. The screen held in front of her as she browses whatever site she's on now. Isao just looks out the window, his expression showing him to be deep in thought. I kind of want to bug him so I can have a conversation partner, but I decided to leave him. The boy has a lot to think about right now, after all. Looking around the cafe proves about as boring as expected. A few old people who came to this town to live out a quiet retirement sit at a few of the tables, and a handful of students from Yamako populate the others. I think I recognize the back of the class rep's head over the other side of the cafe, but I can't be sure. After what feels like forever, at least 30 seconds, Yuko emerges with 3 drinks and 2 pie slices on a platter. Suzu may live in her own world sometimes, but at least she's polite, putting down her phone as they're set down on the table in order to thank her. Ding ding. Oh my god, I swear if it's those 2 twats. The bell above the door rings out, with Yuko giving her briefest of nods before quickly scooting off to the entering customers. The town's pretty nice, isn't it? Oh, yeah, it is. Isao's absent-minded reply annoys me a little, but the tinkle of silverware on her teacup draws the attention of both Isao and I. Suzu ladles teaspoon after teaspoon of sugar into her tea, only stopping after it becomes more a sweet dessert than a drink. After staring at his coffee for a bit afterwards, Hisao lets out a long breath before speaking up. I wasn't going to mention this, but I probably should. He already has the attention of Susan and I after speaking, but both of us become a lot more curious after he moves his tie to the side and begins unbuttoning the top of his shirt. Well, he's just stripping in front of the in the tea house. I briefly wonder how much of his chest I'm going to get to see, but he stopped after undoing several of the topmost buttons. A shame, he looks like he'd have a nice chest on him. Pulling his collar aside when he intends to show us become clear, the top of a vertical line chases up the very center of his chest, depressed just slightly into his flesh and shaded a little darker than his surrounding skin. An operation? From my heart, a few months ago I had a heart attack caused by arrhythmia. The scars from when they cracked my chest open for surgery. So what Haru said was true. I do my best to feign mild surprise as the fact that I learned it before he was ready to do his show and tell makes you feel a little sheepish. Then again, the fact that there's such a visual indication of what he's been through is a real surprise. I always thought of heart attacks as something you don't really see, but his large scar is impossible to miss. It's jarring. That's... damn. I feel a bit bad for opening my mouth, but failing to find something to say, he gives a weak smile to excuse me for it. But I honestly had preferred him to be annoyed with me than make a face like that. There you have it. The reason I'm transferred to Yamaka, that is. Hisao's buttons up his shirt and blows on his coffee before beginning to drink it. The fact that none of us really have anything more to say about his revelation becomes obvious. Suzu and I briefly look at each other before doing the same. The more I think about it, the more it makes sense. His inability to keep up with Amy at all on the track, constantly resting, weirdness around joining in sports, given his build. He was no couch potato before it happened. I have to admit that it was a smooth move to show us that right now. I can see the gears turning in Suzu's head, opening himself up to us like that, especially just after Susie showed her condition to him so vividly, will go a long way in earning her trust. He probably doesn't know it yet, but it looks like he'll be able to handle her just fine. Not many people can. As I chow down the last of my pie, I notice a subtle movement from the corner of my eye. Turning to where it came from, I see Suzu's head beginning to slowly nod, her eyelids are also having trouble staying up. She might be working to hide it, but the harder she tries, the more obvious it is. If she's already this bad, she's probably been fighting to stay lucid for a while. Silly girl. It's fine. Sorry. She looks annoyed, but only in the most routine of ways. It's far from the first time this has happened after all. That was snooze. The world drops from her consciousness as she lowers herself down to the table, this time in a much more careful way than the last. I dutifully take her empty cup of tea and place it a few inches away from her arms, as her arms come to rest around her head. Isao suddenly looks on, doing her best to appear nonplussed as he defers to my experience in dealing with her. And just like that, Susie's gone. Well, she was out for the count. This is just steep, right? No, she's dead, you fucking idiot. Yeah, just a nap. She's going to be out for a while, most likely. Do we wait on her, or... Nah, I'll just carry her back. You sure? I can do it if you want. Your chivalry is cute, but it's fine. There's something else you can do there. Yeah? Spot me the bill. Spot me the bill, pretty please. And why should I do that? Because I'm cute. He just grimaces. I knew I shouldn't have gone with... I knew I should have gone with hot or sexy. Alright, I'll do it. That will work exactly once, understand? Yeah, excellent. I wonder how many times I can get him to do that with various excuses. Acting fast before he can retract his offer, I smile and call Yuko over. With the bill paid over Susie's peacefully sleeping body, our little outing comes to an end. How much? The trudge up the hill, back up to Yamako's farm town is a journey I've made countless times by now. I'm pretty sure I've lost count of the number of times I've made it while carrying a slumbering girl on my back too. It's not much of a bother, to be honest. She's a light little thing, worrying so at times. And it's good exercise for my upper body in any case. I'm swole! Isao tries his best to look like this is a routine thing, but it's in vain. A one-handed girl walking up a hill with her sleeping friend on her back is just too odd a sight to ignore, at least at the beginning. I've got no idea how you manage that. It ain't so bad. I've been working out since forever anyway. Feel my muscles. The thought of a girl being stronger than he is clearly dents his pride a little. What an arm wrestle. That he's already breathing heavily while I'm not having much trouble at all just makes it worse. At least he has a fair excuse given what he said back there. It's nice though, you two must be really close. Why do you say that? Susie trusts you enough to be okay with you manhandling her, and you put yourself out to carry her around. You both seem to have a good handle on each other too. I didn't expect that, because when they first met, it seemed like in the library, it seemed like they barely knew each other, but they're like really close. And I feel like they don't complement each other quite as well as like the other pairs. Like you got Emmy and Rin with the whole missing limbs. You had Misha and Shizune with the whole can't talk thing. Well, what was even Misha's problem? I don't remember. Was she just there for the sake of it? And then obviously Lily and Hanako with their burns and stuff. Susie trusts you enough to be okay with you, man. Oh, I've already said that. I think to myself about his words. I suppose it's reasonable for an observer to think that, but I wouldn't really say we're close at all. I struggle for a bit to put our relationship into words, as much for me as for him. It's practical, yeah, I think that's the best way to describe our relationship. We fell into each other's orbit. Yeah, exactly, you're good with those word things. Those dang word things. Turn that down a little bit. I don't like that all these tracks are like different. Yeah. Yeah, different volumes. I'm happy with that description, and I think Susie would be too, if she could hear it. Hisao, on the other hand, looks quite off-put if he did suggest it. He probably made the assumption just because we're both girls. It's not worth getting too attached at this point anyway. She's going to get into some good university, just like Hisao is given his constant praise from Mutu. Though path is close to me. that path is close to me. Things got a lot better when I stopped caring about that fact. But even now, as I carry her still body up the hill like this, I still feel the slightest bit comforted by her warmth. Having partnered and gone our separate ways, he's held to the male dormitory building, and telling me his room number in case I decide to visit, and the two of us to the female one, I find myself shuffling up the hallway to Susie's room. It's the floor below my own. Unfortunately, if we were neighbours, it'd be a lot more convenient. With my left arm holding up Susie, I managed to retrieve the key to her room from my pocket after some fiddling. Her convincing the staff to let me get a copy of her dorm room key cut for a situation like this was one of her better moves. A quick flick of the hand and the lock opens with a satisfying click. Maneuvering around the door as I open it, the familiar smell of her room hits me before the view does. Oh my god. Oh my god, this is just someone's bedroom. This is weird. Compared to his house, it's just like a fucking nurse bed. Like a nursing bed? I don't know. It's girly, for lack of a better word. I don't know exactly what makes up the scent beyond probably nail polish remover and light perfume, but it's unmistakably and foreign nonetheless. Closing the door behind us and turning to the room ahead, I slowly navigate the way to her bed, taking care to maneuver around the multitude of papers, books, clothes, manga, magazines, and toys scattered around the floor. She has a desk, but that's largely dedicated to her big laptop plus a few other toys around her. I don't see a laptop. My room may be far from spotless, but at least you can see the floor. Then again, maybe that's just because I don't have the money to constantly buy things. Grunting little, I turn around at the side of her bed and bend down at the knees, slowly lowering Susie onto her bed. With the weight lifted from my shoulders, I turn back and set about organizing the disheveled heap, moving her legs and arms around to whatever looks reasonably comfortable. I work down, I stand back and admire my work. Bit of a weird way to describe it. I can't help but smile at the absurdity of it all, even after all this time. The perfect little spoiled princess, neatly arranged, with her plush toys all around her on the bed to keep her company. I reach down and brush his stray hair away from her closed eyes, my gaze lingering a little on her motionless face. It's almost painful how delicate she looks, like a china doll that could crumble any second. She really is a real life sleeping beauty. I shouldn't get so sentimental about it. Maybe it's because I've only ever hung around with guys that a girl who actually acts like one feels so strange. It could just be yearning for a side of me I never had a chance to explore. Who knows? Well, whatever. I turn to scratch the back of my head as I make to leave, trying to brush the thoughts from my head. It doesn't really matter what Hisao thinks about our relationship. I'm not the kind of person a girl like her should be around. Yo, the Miku figure! I stop for a moment, I'm distracted by an actual doll on Susie's shelf. An energetic looking girl in bright clothes from some show she watched a while ago. No, she's not from an anime, goddammit, Miki. Or whatever your fucking name is. I think that's Miki, right? She has a lot more at home, but only brought a handful to her dorm. She might call them figures rather than dolls, but I don't really get the difference. Casual. I poke at its head for something to do as I mull things over. Don't touch it! We really are from two different worlds. For all I try, I can't think of a damn thing we have in common. I'm envious of so many things from her, from her innocence to her family to her wealth, but I never bothered mentioning it. Some people pop out of the right set of legs and others... Some pop out of the right set of legs and others don't. I thought he meant like the right leg. I was like, what the fuck? Some people mess everything up and others don't. That's life. Don't. Susie's voice, little more than a faint and mumble whisper, draws my attention to her as I obediently stop tweaking at her doll. It looks like she's awake, albeit only by the most generous definition. She rubs her eyes, but does little beyond stare at the ceiling. I've always thought it must be hard to constantly be waking up in different places than where you went to sleep, but she's never complained about it once. You okay? I'm fine. No, she's not. Her voice has a slightly miffed edge to it, which she's too groggy to try and cover for. Well, you're touching her figures. What do you think? She's never worried about being a bother to me before. Not that I mind. Being useful to at least one other person in the world is something I need. She's a total idiot socially, but I think she managed to work that out for herself. That leaves the only other place that was with us. I just know. Oh, for fuck's sake! I just noticed that the thing was there. Fuck's sake, whatever. It's kind of cute, really, getting all rattled about her narcolepsy in front of a boy. I shouldn't smile, but it's hard to suppress. Having just transferred, it's unlikely Hisao would have a girlfriend right now, so she's in with a good chance. Don't feel bad about it. Hisao's pretty understanding. He's a total babe, and the worst is what he is. Haha, you got that right. He's totally helpless right now. What do you think of the guy? She looks at me a moment, trying to ascertain my intentions. That was an amazingly direct way to try and gauge her feelings towards him, after all. He's sensible. I don't mind him. Well done, Hisao. That's one of the highest compliments someone could ever hope for from her. She's not wrong, though. He may be a nerd, but he's comfortable dealing with other club guys as friends. His sensitive side is enough to make Suzu lower her guard around him, which is something none of the other guys could do. Looks like I'm stuck with him, though. There aren't many that can overcome Suzu's distrust of others, and as far as friends go, I could do a lot worse than Hisao. Having someone around who doesn't know about my past means a lot less baggage to deal with, too. Ooh. Spicy background. What are you smiling about? Nothing, just take it easy for today, alright? And eat a snack or something. Don't think I missed you skipping lunch. Only if you promise to do your homework for once. Alright, I will. See you tomorrow. See you. With that, I give a parting wave before leaving the room and its scaly smell. Entering the hallway and carefully closing the door behind me, all I can do is rest my back against it as I close my eyes and sigh. Looks like the last few months of my time here won't be as simple as expected. We haven't had a single choice yet. I'm guessing that doesn't really need to be that many because there's only 2 choices, but... Leaning back against the railing as the multitude of people ahead move to and fro, I do my best to pass the time by watching those who walk by. I had arranged to be Suzu and Hisao knew, but it's getting perilously close and there's still no sign of either of them. I probably should have listened to Hisao, taking the same buses as he was going to use after all. Not that I mind all that much, just leaning back and watching others is entertaining, given the sheer varieties in people you see. I suppose when you get enough people in one place, you'll eventually start seeing the odd ones. Of course, badly hidden glances from the occasional person who notices my left arm ending in a stump reminds me that I'm one of the odd ones myself. If I really cared, I could cross my arms, shove the stuff in my jean pocket, or just pull down the sleeves of my shirt a little. It's not exactly hard to notice when my sleeves are rolled up, after all. It hardly matters though. I'm out of their consciousness a minute after they lose sight of me, so I may as well just wear whatever's comfortable. That's one of the many advantages of a city over small town life. When you're surrounded by so many people, it's easy to be forgotten. I looked to my watch again to see the time. The dark grey digits reading out a time of 5 minutes to noon. At least I have an early lunch, so I'm hardly starving for food. As soon as I begin to wonder if either of them will actually be here on time, I notice a familiar young man with brown hair maneuvering through the crowd. It takes a moment to identify him, given that this is his first time I've seen him out of his school uniform. Oh, look, he's so dapper. Hisao doesn't look fussed by the crowd at all as he walks up, casually scrolling through wherever he can see a gap in people moving around him. Guess he's a punctual type, given how close cut he is. Hey, looks like I made it just in time. Getting out of the retirement home took a while, huh? Huh? The vest. It's not a cool look. Hey, don't knock the vest, it's smart. Whatever you say, Gramps. He begins to protest, but turns to decide indeed. My own gaze follows his out of curiosity, with the object of his attention becoming quickly obvious. Susie runs towards as fast as her legs can take her, with her white summer dress billowing out behind as she tries to hold her bag to her side. It's kind of sad how slow she is, despite the fact she's running. Damn. I guess he didn't say it like that, but that's what I'm saying. I turned to see Hisao averting his eyes, holding his bald hand to his mouth to try and hide his expression. His bald hand. Okay. She's cute. Oh, he was saying it like, damn. All I can do is give him a snort. Yep. Interesting. She looks suspiciously like the... Why does she have a death note? Hold up. Why the fuck does she have a death note with her? She looks suspiciously like, I think it's the teacher from Higurashi. I feel like she wore exactly that. Hold up. Teacher from Horrid Henry. Wow, it like wait, it's the exact... Hold up. This is just her. Wait, what the fuck? Wait, this isn't even like... Oh, they literally stole it from Higurashi. Wait, how do I get it? Wait, this is funny as fuck. Is it this one? That's literally her. What the fuck? It's the exact same. That's crazy. Oh my god, that's funny. Man, that was gotta give you a chuckle. Jesus. I didn't expect it to be the exact same. She pants heavily as she reaches us, barely managing to splutter out a greeting as she gasps for air. In the end, we all got here on time, even if it was only barely. I didn't even notice the book as well. That like completely solidifies it. It wasn't obvious already. Sorry, I stepped in. I didn't. Just calm down and take a breath. It's fine. Just don't write me in your death note. Jesus Christ. The two of us wait for Suzu to settle herself before Ethan continues. So, do we actually have any plan about what we're doing besides hanging out? I need to buy a couple of new notebooks. I've always run out. I've already filled up this death note. I've killed over 40,000 people. I need another. Stationery shopping? Really? Really, bitch? To be honest, I could probably do with picking up a couple as well. You two are the worst. Further protests don't make any difference to either of them, so the three of us end up heading off towards a stationery shop to pick up school supplies. I guess I could buy a pen or something. Beats waiting outside for that. Yay, pen shopping. Further protests don't make any difference to either of them, so the three of us ended up heading off towards a stationery shop to pick up school supplies. I guess I could. Oh, I've already heard that. Jesus Christ. As we walk on, the heat of the summer's day beating down, I find myself distracted by the. Oh, fuck, she's still there! Hold up. I find myself distracted by the sights alongside us. It's Hisao who eventually picks up on it. What's up? You know, I never get used to those huge displays, the ones they use for advertising and stuff. I point upwards the massive screen mounted on the front of a tall store. The logo of some electronic company flashing up and moving about with wild and vivid color. Even in the summer's daylight, the screen is dazzlingly bright and impossible to ignore. Itself, for his part, looks rather unimpressed. I might as well have pointed to a pebble on the ground for all the interest he takes. The best he can do is tilt his head as he tries to think of something to say about it. You're pointing out like something so normal. Like, what do you want him to say? Yeah, it's pretty big. He comes from the city. What do you expect? So he's a city boy. Should have guessed. He literally told you when he was at the when you at the fucking tea house. You're not listening, bitch. Images of Tokyo and Osaka I've seen on television spring to mind. A teeming mass of people flowing through streets like gushing rivers of water. The bright blouse, stories high, screens beaming down on her head. I guess that makes sense why she's like, holy shit. Man, I gotta go to Tokyo sometimes. It's like living in the future there. Hold on, you've never been to Tokyo? Not once? Even Suzu shares his self disbelief, wheeling around to see me as the three of us grind to a halt. All I can do is respond to shrug. Never needed to. The two of them share a knowing glance before continuing on. I think I just validated a whole bunch of ideas that they had about me. With a quick skip up to them, we continue on our way. Fog. I'm just gonna hack it with the Suzu and Hisao dawdling around getting books, folders, and whatever else. I ended up bailing out and hitting the arcade next door. Hell yeah. Oh, nice. Dancing games are rather pointless without friends, so the choice was largely already made. It was what I had to play. Cheap plastic gun in my hand, I blink away at the screen for minutes and then sending zombies and other undead spawning to the ground. I wonder if I can get used to the quiet of home after being in a place like this. Fancy amusements like arcades, music stores, and concerts still feel like a novelty to me, but everyone else barely notices how amazing they are. Even as they gun down more monsters in a violent, pixelated rampage, a couple at the entrance can be heard decided to go to the cinema instead of wasting time here. I did see movies before moving to Yamako, but it was a rare treat back then. Here it's just a spur of the moment decision. The momentary lapse in concentration is all the excuse the game needs to destroy me. Scratch marks suddenly littering the screen. I try to fight back, but my pace is completely gone. As the continue screen comes up, hungry for more coins as always, a familiar voice comes from beside me. Oh, they look like a couple. You did pretty well, and the game's pretty unforgiving. I'm a bit of a pro myself. Oh, wait. Oh, is it Left 4 Dead? I wondered if I noticed it. I recognized it. Isao and Suzu stand side by side, having patiently waited for me to finish. It's kind of funny to see them together like this. They look like they're cosplaying an elderly couple. No sense of fashion. Not that I want to speak. What he said piques my curiosity, though. I wonder if he's any better than me at this, given that he seems to have played one before. Bastard light gun in the West. You ain't good at this stuff. Start of a 2-player game, and Be sure acid. And something about the tone of his voice is different than usual. I only realize what it is after he's given Suzu's bag to hold and taken up position with his second light gun, pulling it from his holster with practiced ease. He's excited, just a little bit, just a little, but it's there. I occasionally throw a glance at him as I set up a fresh round, throwing in my last few yen as he looks down the sights. Guess I'll be mooching off someone for dinner again, but my curiosity is demanding to be sated. Sated? The two of us take up our positions as the co-op story mode starts up, going through the same lame intro sequence I've seen so many times before, and then it begins. As the undead spring up from the corridors we walk through, the two of us blast away as fast as the guns allow. We get past one level, and then two, and then three. I'm starting to have problems as we reach the fourth, with more and more enemies requiring more and more shots starting launching themselves at us. One life gets used, then another, and by the time the level's over, I'm sitting on just one left. I hardly feel bad about it. It might only be by the skin of my teeth, but this is the first time I managed to get to the 5th level. It sells quite the comrade, and peering over at his side of the screen, it looks like he's still got 2 lives left to my 1. He looks like the other runners in the club when they get into the zone, with their eyes narrowed and mind focused. It's a cool look, perhaps a little too cool, as his focused expression almost makes me miss the first enemies on the new level. That said, it wouldn't have made much of a difference if it had. My last life disappears in the opening few moments, leaving the rest to Hisao. Not that he seems to mind, he manages the challenge of 2 players worth of enemies at once for some time. But then it happens. 1 life is gone by the time the level is wrapped up, and by the time the 6th level has started, it's obvious he's overwhelmed. He puts up a heroic last stand, but in a few minutes he's taken out by a veritable flood of enemies. The continued screen returns once again, the both of us well and truly beaten. Hisao lets out a long breath and his shoulders slump. The adrenaline leaving him as he returns the light gun to his holster. That was pretty good. Thanks. I had a good wingman though. Hisao just shrugs. He just looks at the screen for a while before turning to us with a cocky smile. I think it's the first time I've seen him genuinely proud of an accomplishment. What a loser. That's how you do it. We heading off? Suzu nods and takes the lead, handing Hisao's bag before the 3 of us file out into the busy street outside. The difference between the air-conditioned arcade and sun-baked walkways night and day, with the afternoon heat setting in. You look pleased with yourself. Just been a while since I hit the arcade. It's kind of happy I can still pull that off. You're the only guy I've seen manage to get that far. I thought they'd rig those things so you had to keep buying lives to continue. No, you're just shit. No, you're just shit. They pretty much do. Actually finishing is nearly impossible. Well, look at Mr. Arcade Machine Expert talking big over here. I turn to Suzu to back me up, only to find her no longer in sight. But Hisao and I turn to check where she is in confusion. Walking slowly and slow behind her, Suzu's eyes remain pinned to the ground ahead of her. I might not be particularly bothered by the heat, but Suzu isn't as hardly as most. My heart freezes as she suddenly begins to fall, legs crumpling underneath her and giving no resistance as her body drops downwards. A movement from the corner of my vision darts forward before I even have a chance to react. Oh god, she's going to get run over. It's all over in what must be less than a second. Hisao, hero of the day, stands with his legs bent as he holds Suzu's limp body to his front. Every time he lulls me into thinking he's just another boring study bag, he goes and pulls something like that. That was some amazing stuff, dude. Don't worry about it. Can you take her? She stinks, and she's a girl. Sure, hold on. Back when he first entered Yamako, everyday conversations tended to put him on guard. Tended to put him on guard. What? But now he's dealing with a public situation without panicking in the least. He might be sweating a little, but I'm still impressed. Whoops, I dropped her. I quickly jog over and turn around. Hisao helping maneuver her onto my back. The heat alone wouldn't do this, but if she was tired before coming here, it might have just finished her off. Whether it's cataplexy or some sleep attack, she's not going to be in a condition to walk much more in either case. See anywhere we can rest for a bit? He sounds around a little before pointing to a small cafe with some free outdoor tables. Let's head over there. We can grab a coffee while she recuperates. And I am not paying. Sounds like a plan. I nod in assent as we move off, the slumbering girl on my back, drawing more than a few badly hidden glances. I'm kind of glad she isn't awake for this, as she'd no doubt hate the attention. Thankfully, it isn't far to the places Hal pointed out, with him going inside to order a couple of coffees while I deposit Suzu in a chair before taking a seat myself. It's been a long time since she passed out in public. Now that I think about it, it must be incredibly suspicious to the people around us for two teenagers to be dragging around an unconscious girl. Maybe it's a good thing I'm a girl too, as two guys dragging her around would look even worse. Yeah, it would. I'd idly wrap my fingers on the table while occasionally glancing to her arms and head arranged on the table in what's hopefully a comfortable position. Thinking back to when she fell, I reached into the wallet in my back pocket and fish out some yen. I can't really ask Isao to spot me the coffee after what he did for her. It's incidents like that which gave her that stupid knee brace in the first place. Eventually he emerges from the glass door of the cafe, setting down a cup in front of me before sitting down. I put several notes on the table and slide them over in return, earning another thanks before he slips them into his pocket. Bit of excitement there, eh? I could do without more excitement in my life, to be honest. Where'd you get reflexes like that, anyway? Don't know, lots of OC. Don't know, probably partly from playing so much soccer. Before the heart attack, anyway. I miss playing that. He gives a wistful sigh as he looks out to the street. I feel terribly bad for asking. I know that sting all too well. I know I am inflicting it on someone else, albeit accidentally. I'm confused about what she's on about, because, like, her condition surely shouldn't affect her running that much. Wanted to go pro, or nah, nothing like that. It's just it was structure, I guess. Something to dedicate myself to. I was good at it, you know, nothing amazing, but I could keep up with the others easily enough. It was something I could do with friends, see myself improving at, and look forward to each day. I guess I didn't realize how much that meant to me before I lost it, dude. So, I think I understand him a lot better now. The reasons he studies so much isn't because he's some nerd, but because he wanted to fill that hole in his life. That's admirable, I think. To deal with such a shock in that particular way is something I can respect. Susan begins to stir as we talk, mumbling something unintelligible, still holding her death note, unintelligible as she tries to sit herself upright. The two of us wait for her to be fully awake, knowing that engaging her while she's so disorientated would be futile. So was there never a screenshot of the teacher without the book? I'm guessing that's why they have it, because they didn't like want to redraw anything. Pardon me. After shaking her head and pinching the bridge of her nose, she appears a little bit more lucid. Oh, just the cafe nearby, don't worry. Superman here managed to catch you before you fell, so you're not hurt. She just nods silently, still trying to regain her senses. Where she is and whether she ended up injured should cover just about everything. As to prove me wrong, she digs around in her bag lid to retrieve her trusty mobile phone, no doubt to check how long she's been out. It wouldn't have been all that much time, so it shouldn't come as a shock. She pauses a little after doing so, looking to Isao with a hint of shyness. If you want my number. Sure, might as well take it. Just add to the collection. He quickly grabs his phone from his pocket and slides it across the table towards her hip. Fingers make short work of the task, adding her number to his phone and vice versa. Being left out, I drag my own phone from my pocket as well. It might be noticeably older than either of these whiz-bang things, but it does the job. Yo, gimme. Caesar glances to himself for confirmation, with a shrug being the answer as he busily sips his coffee. With another slide, his phone reaches me as he quickly set about bringing up his contact list. It's difficult to just ignore what's right there, so I scrolled a couple of times to see who he's deemed worthy before adding my own list to it. Details down. There's a lot of women here. Hi, you've got a student council goons in it. Make that sound like a bad thing. Well, I mean, I'm fine with them, but... I glance to Suzu, who evades my staring. They can be a bit intimidating. I suppose you could. I suppose I can see that, but they've been a lot of help. They do take their job seriously. That's part of the problem. You just gotta know how to deal with them. Straight back, stiff lip, tell them what you mean. You're the last person I expected to defend them. They're fine. I can appreciate people take their work seriously, you know. Maybe you should try doing that yourself, lazy bitch. Suzu's gaze shifts to me, waiting to see my comeback. I just settled for sticking my tongue out at him. With the argument headed off and his phone returned, we content ourselves with drinking and talking for a good long time. I feel like nobody used a phone in like the rest of Katawa Shoujo. It was like very like there was no technology at all. It was very like old school. Like nobody was playing like game consoles and shit. And already there's been like this is way more like high tech. High tech. Sprinting has never been my thing. I've never managed to hype myself up for the competitive nature of the track meets either. But the act of running or putting one foot in front of the other, that's what I found pleasure in. I can care less if other people are on the track with me or not, that isn't really a point of it. As I jog around the track during lunch, I can feel my mind clearing. Some people do stuff like this to give themselves time to think, to mull things over. For me, it's the opposite. While running, I can just concentrate on the track itself, the breeze blowing past me, the sound of the birds in the trees. How have I dropped 284 frames? There's like nothing to drop. How long have I been live? Literally can't tell. Probably hour 40. Oh yeah, there is hour 30. After everything that's happened, this is the one time I can forget it all. No more worries about school, home, or my past. Just me and the track. I give the others in the club a quick glance as I come around once more. As expected, dozen that are here are just lazing around chatting between themselves. A few are drinking bottles of water and others are eating snacks, but all of them are on their asses. Too hot for them, probably. I want to see if Emmy's here. I want to chat to Emmy. Aru raises himself and gestures for me to join him, with Yukio nearby taking his feet also. No reason not to, so I break from the track and head over to the two. Yo. The fucking goon squad's here. He gives a wave as I slow down and walk towards them. With a long breath and a bit of stretch, I feel the exhaustion from the run ebb away.
You see,
Wait, he had a deep voice like,
you see this out today, he hasn't shown up to
fuck, I regret that. Oh god, I haven't read for so long. Jesus. Sorry, no idea where he's gotten to. Emmy hasn't dragged his ass here. That's a question. Thinking back to the end of class, I think I saw Hisao leave with the main bunch of students, but I have no idea where he went to after that. Yamagata snorts in amusement as Haru just crosses his arms and sighs.
She's given him the silent treatment. Think he balked at me one too many. Think he balked at one too many of her morning runs.
That's harsh, man. He just shrugs. Not much we can do about it, I suppose. I guess one of us will have to go out on the hunt. She's going to go nuts if she finds him skipping club completely.
He could just be studying. Exams are soon, you know.
He emphasizes the last two words, as if me to busting my balls wasn't enough. He surrenders the point after the fed-up glare I give him in response. Each of us look at each other, trying to come up with our best excuses to not bother. I just want to get back to running, and it's probably too hot for either of them, even of the others, to be asked wandering around trying to find him.
The usual.
We all quickly nod. It's obviously going to be the only way to decide this. Huddling together, the three of us hold our fists out in preparation.
Paper, scissors, rock.
We each throw our choices out, one scissor, one rock, and then mine. For some strange reason, the others end up looking at me with flat faces. It's rock. How does 3 people rock, paper, scissors work? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. I waggle my stump around in the air a little before giving up on the joke. Without further ado, we pump our fists up and down for another round. This time, I throw my choice out with my right hand. 2 paper against my rock. Assholes. I guess you gotta wait for one person to like double up. I reluctantly slink off after a sympathetic pat on the shoulder, knowing full well that my goose is cooked. Guess I'll hit the library first, where better to find a nerd studying for exams after all. Alright, I need to piss real quick. After failing to see him in the gardens leading back to the main building, poking my head into the largely empty classroom and finding the library a bust, I make the trek back down the flights of stairs across the school grounds to the dormitories. Strolling through what should be the hallway to his house room, I casually glance around at a near empty corkboard on either side, and there are a couple of old and tatty joke pictures threatening to fall onto the floor. It's odd to contrast with the sections of the male dorms I've seen, full of official notices, jokes, and messages to the other guys in the nearby dorms. Teachers might try their best to keep the more crude ones torn down, but a few occasionally manage to stay up for an evening or two. Eventually, I reach my goal, pressing the door handle and gingerly pushing it in to see if it will open. She's just walking into his room. It obediently opens at my touch, giving me a wave of relief. I'd probably have given up if he wasn't here, but at least now this wasn't all for nothing. Poking my head around that now half-open door, there doesn't seem to be any sign of life inside. Maybe he's in a toilet or something. Though that doesn't explain why he retreated to his dorm room during club time. With no desire to wait around bored in the hallway, I decided to step in and indulge my curiosity about what his room is like. Very fucking boring. Plain. There isn't any other word for it. He did transfer in recently, but it wouldn't kill him to put something on the walls or some toy or whatever on his desk, and that's here are a bunch of books, his computer, a few clothes strewn about. For a guy, he's very neat, frustratingly so. After pacing around a few times out of his bedroom, I take a quick move to crouch down and peek underneath his bed, hoping to see if he stuffed anything embarrassing underneath. Nothing, except for a couple of misplaced pieces of clothing. Disappointing. I guess he's the type to have that kind of thing on his computer as well. It's only after getting back on my feet that I take more careful notice at his desk. Behind a couple of textbooks sits a bunch of bottles, drawing me towards them to see what they are. Medications. I didn't think they could be, given how many there are. Well over a dozen by my count. I pick up one of the bottles to see the label more clearly, but can't define anything with the lengthy name Ole, Ine, and A, all the same to me. I gently put it down amongst the others as another item on his desk catches my eye. Oh shit, is this the Iranako letter? Whatever her name is. A single piece of paper, obviously a letter, sitting atop its open envelope, adorned with sunflower decorations and cute pink writing. It's obviously to Sal rather than from him. By the time my consciousness has said to step away, my eyes have already started scanning the letter's contents. I sure wish I had handwriting as neat as this. How are you? I hope you are well and happy at your new school. Everyone here misses you. It's from someone at his old school. I guess the mysterious transfer student does have a past after all. Blah blah blah, just a status update of what's been happening in the lead up to their set of exams. At least he still has contact with them, I suppose. The truth is, the times that when I visited you at the hospital made me worried about you. I'm not talking about your health. You seem to be becoming more and more distant and disheartened. Well, yeah, being stuck in the hospital for a while would make you feel shitty. As my eyes keep scanning the page, the penny finally dropped. Now that the distance between us is also physical, it also feels more final somehow. I wonder if we will meet again. Perhaps it's for the best if we don't. She wasn't just a friend, was she? Now I understand what this is. It's not somebody writing to another about what's been happening lately. It's a breakup with a bunch of meaningless padding thrown to distract them from what she really meaning to say. I made a mistake. I should have never seen this. I step back to the center of the room and take a quick look towards the door, making sure I'm not being watched. My first thoughts are for my own self-preservation. Typical. Deciding that I've had quite enough of prying, I quickly retreat to the hallway outside the door, outside the room, taking care to quietly close the door, just as it had been. There's nothing to be gained by confessing. It's better for everyone if this just never happened. The faint sound of voices catches my ear, though thankfully it sounds more like general chatter than anything directed at me. Sounds like it's coming from one of the nearby dorm rooms. Wonder if it's Kenji. Whether it's out of desire to distract myself from what I've read or simply trying to establish an alibi if his Sal comes by, once again I quietly poke my head through an unlocked door. This time around I do find somebody inside. His Sal stands with his back to the door, busily chatting with someone else. Oh my god, it actually is him. Oh my god, it is actually Kenji. Let's go. Everything about the other guy seems a little bit off. His height is a little too short, his hair is a little too scruffy, his glasses are a little too thick, his scarf, well, he looks like fucking Harry Potter. That's more than just a little off. And not just given that it's summer. The scrawny guy notices me over his Sal's shoulder, their conversation abruptly and ending as the two of them turn to their visitor. But he's like short-sighted. How would he see? So, haven't you heard of knocking? I apparently knock a few times on the door. The short guy raises an eyebrow as his Sal sighs and motions to my direction. Yes, Kenji, let's go. Kenji, this is Miki Miura. Miki, this is Kenji Seto. You don't have to make it sound like you're embarrassed to know me. I'm not quite sure how to interpret the awkward face he pulls. Not much point in leaving now anyway, so I wander into the room regardless. Let's go. I like his sounds. This is a room that feels lived in. The bits and bobs that Kenji's collected over the years and brought from home and littered around the room. This is what he has hanging on the walls that particularly catches his eye. I'm not to what's the point of having posters when you can't fucking see them? I nod to a poster of the local Pacific League baseball team nestled in the corner to some professional bowling posters. I didn't even know they made posters for bowling teams. Nice taste. You know them? Kinda hard not to know the locals, even if they did flunk last season. They're still the best team. It's just their coach. Totally. I mean, just look how well the 2005 worked out. All he does is frown a little, but I somehow get the feeling I've offended him less by insulting his mother. Calm down. I follow them too. The sooner they find their groove, the better. The quick save mends his attitude a little, but he still seems suspicious, whether he knows it or not. His Sal steps in to save the day. I had no idea you followed baseball. Baseball is the best sport, you know. Well, it's not. Huh? Play? Used to. Or maybe that's what happened. They pitched the ball too hard and it broke her arm off. Even after all these years, those two words still felt like a punch to the gut. I quickly moved to hold my expression, but Sal sees through it, going by his reaction. An awkward silence follows. I shouldn't blame him, given that I was the one who brought it up. Better to just let it drop, as I feel like telling him one detail or another will make everything eventually unravel. I guess this is what they call baggage. Oh, so do you follow bowling? This dude has no idea how thankful I am for the change in topic, even if it's a weird bowling. Bowling, I think I played that once. Is that like a professional scene or something? All hopes he might have had for engaging me visibly evaporate. I guess the dude puts a lot of stock in bowling. Bowling is the best sport. Why does nobody understand this? Wasn't bowling more popular in the 80s or something? It's just something you do to kill time these days. Exactly. The 80s were a golden era. All the best stuff comes from the 80s, like bowling. The economy was booming back then, so maybe you have a point. It's not just sport and the economy either. The 80s gave all the best action movies, the most important and educational media ever made. I don't think those movies were educational at all. They were documentaries on how to be a man, dude. They just don't make them like they used to anymore. Everything's too fucking woke. You got a point there, actually. The new action movies are all lacking something. I know, right? We've lost control of Hollywood. Oh, I was going to say something. There is no hope for them now. We have to retreat and guard the homeland. We're alone in this world. Generations will grow up not knowing what true manliness looks like, cowed by their overlords. Soon the popular culture will be chick flicks and shoujo games. Even the action movies will be made for girls. I don't really get what he's on about. My future full of girly romance movies sounds bad. I saw one once and out of curiosity and nearly threw up on the sentimentality of it. How do people watch that stuff? I don't really get what he's on about, but a future full of girly romance movies sounds bad. I saw one. Oh, wait, I don't know. That would be terrible. Yes, terrible. You keep good company, Hisao. I knew I was right to rely on you. I thought he hated all girls. What's going on here? I sure said something right. He gives a thumbs up, but Hisao looks like he'd rather be anywhere other than here right now. He hastily and pretty blatantly changes the subject. What do you want from me, anyway? That's a very good question. Oh, right, you didn't show up at club, so I came to drag your ass in. He glances to his watch. It's news apparently unpleasant for him. Oh, she's gonna eat me alive. Sorry, Kenji, I gotta go. It's cool. We can cover that. Oh, what the fuck is that word? You didn't stay out. Oh, it's fucking pig Latin. You didn't stay ounce okay. Oh, say sometime later. I have visual aids and everything. Yeah, sometimes later, fucking weirdo. I'll see you around. Two of us take our leave. Hisao closes the door behind us before we start down the hallway. Your door's unlocked, by the way. Seems like a cool dude. Fred, he's not a cool dude. He's a fucking nerd. Yeah, kinda. He's like the only other guy. Oh, well, I guess not, actually. I guess he is. Man, I love Kenji. Oh, not these chuckle fucks. No, it's just him. Oh no, I don't like this guy. He ruins my voice. When the sun, when and truly having set, Haru, Hisao, and I passed the time lazing around in front of the convenience store. The light from the store illuminates the street around us as we sit on the ground, backs propped up against the window. A couple of bags sit between us, holding a late dinner of onigiri, potato croquettes, and some canned drinks. Not exactly five-star cuisine, but it's edible and filling. Aside from the sound of our munching away and occasional chatter, there's a little else to be heard. The bulk of school students have retired in their dorm rooms for the evening by now, leaving us to shoot the breeze in peace. Still surprised Yukio's not here.
Don't believe him when he says he's studying.
Wait, that was me. Fuck. Wait, he did that voice for nothing. Don't believe him when he says he's studying. As much as I believe you, dick.
Leaving those two aside, I'm surprised you're not studying. You don't seem as careless as they are.
I needed the break, to be honest. There's only so much I can do. I'd burn out.
Sounds like you've got a good head on your shoulders.
Hisao gives a grin and a quick snort to pass off the praise, tucking into a drink afterwards. Praise seems to slide off him, which I've never quite understood. Why work so hard for no reward? I thought academic types lived for a pat on the head. Haru cares much less than I about the matter, plucking out a familiar magazine from his bag, with his free hand while chomping on the onigiri held in the other. New issue out?
Yeah, want to read it after me?
Sure. A defense forces magazine? Didn't know you were interested in that stuff. What the hell is defense forces?
Gotta have something to occupy myself besides baking cakes.
You've really got your eyes set on working in a bakery, don't you? You make that sound like a bad thing. Having a purpose to your life is admirable, no matter what it is. That sounds absolutely bizarre coming from you. I can't help but glare at him. For him to say that feels like an invalidation of everything that happened before my accident. Okay. But on the other side of the coin, that's the front I've been presented to him to begin with. My dream died. It's gone. What's the point of bringing it up? I guess... No, I guess that makes sense. So maybe she didn't have the accent from baseball, but she was a baseball star, and her batting hand was like... There was an accident, and her batting hand had to be amputated, and now she can. Because I guess you can't really... I mean, I guess you could do it one-handed, but probably not if it's your weak hand and not, like, at a high level. Without realizing it, I began to rub my stump once more. Thankfully, Haru fills the air with more meaningless words to try and liven things back up.
What about you, Hisao? You seem to have a good head on your shoulders, unlike her. Surely you have something to apply that brain to.
I need to change his voice. It's killing me. To be honest, I haven't really given it much thought. Suppose I'll have to with graduation on the horizon. I do agree with Miki though. It's good to have something to work towards. Come to think of it, what are you planning on doing with yourself? I should have known that would come up. I plan on enjoying the springtime of youth. In other words, nothing. You say that like it's a bad thing. You only need it young once, man. YOLO. He looks to the side but finds no support from Haru. With a magazine in one hand and food in the other, he's made it clear that he has no intention of getting involved. Hisao's eyes linger for a little too long as I follow his gaze. I see why. Even Haru looks up from his magazine after noticing the lull in discussion. The fuck? Who are you? I got in the Yamaku. Why they are like introducing new characters that are like not in the game, but they're not like a romance option. Why don't they just put the other real girls on to go like shit? I got in the Yamaku uniforms, comes striding up the street in the direction of school, and the three of us watching her as she strolls past. Quite a pretty thing and carries herself well. She also appears to be about 8 feet tall. Whether she notices our glances is answered by the flirtatious flick she gives her hair, showing a brief flash of her cute earrings. I guess that's the way the game is played. All too soon, she disappears into the night. The fuck was that all about? When the three of us... Also, why did they show Rin earlier just running past screen? It didn't even matter. When the three of us thoroughly distracted, the previous discussion is hard to return to. Hisao and I take a few more gulps of our drink, but Haru evidently has other ideas. He takes to his feet and passes me his reading material. Standing bolt upright and looking up to the street, he looks like a man on a mission. I think I know what he's got into his head. What's wrong?
Something came out. I have to go. Bitch detected.
Go get him, Tiger. He gives up a nod before heading off, running a hand through his hair before putting them into his pockets to appear as casual as he can. Springtime of youth, huh? Just like I said. With the two of us left to our own devices, I pick up the can next to me and give it a swirl to check if it's empty. Hisao digging around the bag between us for a croquette. As he pulls one out, he makes a disappointed face. Yeah, that's one. Mine. What? No. Hisao fearfully twisted it aside, clutching it with both hands as if it were a pearl or diamond. Without a second thought, I dropped the magazine and can, jumping onto his back to try and snatch it from his grab. Jesus Christ, just buy some more. Miki, I said mine. Give it! Give it to me! I throw my left arm around his neck to pin myself to him, and I just swipe up the food, Hisao frantically holding it out as far as he can with his right hand while jabbing me repeatedly with his left elbow. I need sustenance! So what? I got it out. It's mine. We struggle some more as he tries in vain to throw me off. The two of us probably look like utter idiots to any passerby. He suddenly changes tack and thrusts the croquette towards his mouth, but I manage to get an iron grip on his wrist. He frantically tries to move his arm, but it's hopeless. I'm taken off guard by how little effort it takes to manhandle him, as he looked quite well built at a glance. I push further into his back and squeeze my hand to make it drop, further drawing protest as my grip gets tighter and tighter. A growling and grunting gets louder and louder before eventually the pain becomes too much for him. Sal's fingertips snap open with the food, promptly dropping it to the pavement. I quickly reach out to grab it before he has a chance, before pulling him back and returning to my seat as he rubs his sore wrist. Both of us take a breather after the scuffle, the conquered casting a distinct frown towards the conqueror. I don't care. I got my food. It's been on the ground, you know. 5-second rule. I give it a little dusting before jamming the item into my mouth in one go. It's a bit cold by now, but it's still worth the effort. Really? Really, was it? All Hisao's left to do as I munch away is heave a sigh and deposit our bags into the nearby bin, taking care to retrieve the can I threw away and dump that in too. With dinner finished, I give my stomach a hearty pat and leaned back against a window. It doesn't look like Hisao has any intentions of leaving as he retakes the seat beside me, making it obvious that he still has something he wants to talk about. So, what's eating you? He looks surprised that I picked up on it for a moment, but eventually acquiesces. I'm not really sure. I guess with the summer holidays just around the corner after exams, I'm just getting a bit reflective. I've been here for a month, but it still feels like the ground's moving under my feet. Stuff's just happening around me, sort of thing. Isn't that normal? You didn't live alone before, right? Technically not, but both my parents spent most of my day either at practice or roaming around the city with friends, so I wasn't home much to begin with. Look like a true urbanite. Dude, living on your own for the first time is bloody hard. Handling laundry, feeding yourself at every meal, doing your chores out of need rather than being asked, and being separated from your parents for months and sometimes years is a pretty huge change. I'd help though. Shuni and Misha put themselves out for me more than once, and as much as I hate to say it, you've been around too. And what? That makes me wrong? You're living on your own and got help when you needed it. Sounds like to me like you were doing pretty well for yourself. Even by Yamaku's standards, you've been dealt a shit hand. I'm honestly pretty surprised you've even managed so well considering everything you've been through. His expression drops, and after a brief moment of thought, it becomes all too obvious why. You were in my room, weren't you? Well, lock your fucking door, bitch! I rapidly prepare to light my ass off, but his dead serious expression leaves me speechless. I've never seen him so stony-faced, awkwardly shrugging as well I can. A bit? What am I doing? I can lie better than that. What does that even mean anyways? Well, there's no use to dying it now. Sorry. How did you know? After I take a particular pill, I turn the bottle around. Helps me keep track of whether I'll have my daily medication that day or not. And I didn't put one back the right way. I do mean what I said though. You've done well for yourself. To be honest, it makes me kind of jealous. I was a real piece of work when I first entered Yamako. But here you are, skirting death and just rolling with the punches. I leave an opening for him to ask about me, but he doesn't take it. Instead, he just looks tired, like an old man reflecting as his eyes slowly close. I wonder about that. What's wrong? He slowly shakes his dreary head, still looking at the ground. You understand? It's a guy thing. Moments pass in silence, frustrated at his sudden change in demeanor welling up. He's right, of course, but that doesn't make it any easier. Hisao isn't just taking pills to suppress a medical issue or another. He's taking pills to not die. I think about how to do two things at once, or how to do up a butter with one hand. He thinks about mortality and how to end might come. We're 18, kids. We can't even drink. That's too. Is it 21 in Japan as well? That's too young to think about death. Of course, I can't understand that crap, and neither can he. No matter how much he might pretend to. I end up responding the only way I know how, by hitting him around the back of the head. Like, oh, what the fuck was that for? You're a real pain in the ass, you know that. Oh my god. Oh, hello. Kitsune dances in spring. how are you doing? Thank you for the raid. How did you even find the stream? It's like buried at the bottom of just chatting. Hi. How did your stream go? What were you streaming? Boxer raid, Boxer raid, Boxer raid. Oh, thank you for the follow. Takeshi. Doing great, and dude, I'm a follower of yours. Oh, Kitsune dances right. All right, I vaguely remember your name. You haven't been here a while, so I don't quite remember. But thank you very much. I see some Katawa Shoujo. Yeah, it's a spin-off game that I just found out about yesterday, and it's been out for like 5 years or 3 years or something. Um, Basically, we play as the tan runner girl who's got like a stump for one of her hands, and there is two main routes. I've just started it like 2 hours, so we haven't really got we're still in the common route. So we can date Hisao, which is the main character of the original game, and the narcolepsy girl, which I think she was shown in like the picture of when he first joins the class, and you can see that all the classmates, and she's at the front just like leaning on a desk. So that's the two options for this game, and yeah, I streamed Beyond Two Souls, and right in the middle of a very important scene, my game crashed. So I was like, I probably meant to start. Ah, fuck! Did it like not save or anything? I've heard of that game. I don't know what it is or anything. Um, but yeah, when you like lose progress from like crash or something, it's like, oh fuck, I can't be bothered. I'll deal with that another day. They do auto saves, fair enough. Right. I thought Susu was hard enough to deal with, and then you go and start getting all mopey. We're teenagers. We're allowed to not think about that crap. Isao's reaction to my frustrated appearance is both simple and unexpected. He laughs. At first, it's simpering a chuckle, but in seconds, he's escalated to a deep laugh right from the chest. He appears to relish my pain. I should probably find it annoying for him to laugh at my expense, but it's more of a relief. It's far more spooky than I was expecting. I don't fuck with horror games, man. I don't. More power to you. So you can laugh. I was beginning to wonder. I was just thinking about how ridiculously blunt you are. You don't know the meaning of tact, do you? But that's fine. I like that about you. All I can do is smile and give a half-hearted shrug at the compliment, and a bit of relief that he didn't take too much offense. Isao seems the type to appreciate honesty after all, even if it's delivered in a frank way. This is probably going to get me beaten, but it's honestly hard to think of you as a girl. You certainly don't act like any I've been around. You don't think it's in the horror category? I mean, yeah, some like games like just have so few spooky scenes, but it's not like the main theme. What is it like? I don't even know what it is. Was it a shooter or like a action game? I don't know. Believe me, I heard that more than once. You don't mind? Couldn't care less. People think what they like. Doesn't harm me. You're pretty weird, you know. I don't want to hear that from you. I hit him around the back of his head with my stump, drawing another chuckle from him. I can't help but get caught up in it, launching into laughter myself. Maybe it's from how curious a person Hisao is, the both of us laughing off such morbid thoughts of mortality and death, or simply two overly tired people getting caught up in the stresses of exams and school life. But in any case, the both of us end up laughing together for a good long while. Detroit become human. Oh, choices matter. Oh, okay. Add. Oh, okay. Alright, I'll wait a second. But in any case, the both of us end up laughing together for a good long while. Yeah, Detroit Become Human was by the same creators of Heavy Rain, right? It's like that kind of game. I love that back in. I don't know if I think I just watched the Let's Play of it. Yeah, I fucking love that when that came out. It was like a little silly, but like it had some really good scenes, and the story was pretty interesting. Jason! Sean! Jason! The ringing of the school bell heralds the end of yet another school day. Yeah, this is the other girl, by the way, the narcolepsy girl. With the exams finally over and the wait until summer break down to days rather than weeks. The mood of the classes are lifted immeasurably. Even for those that don't care particularly about their marks, the stress felt by everyone else is contagious. Even Mewtwo looks a little more sedate, and he hasn't been quite as hard on me as he usually is. He wastes little time in declaring an end to the class and beginning to clean up his desk, knowing full well that trying to teach us any further would be futile. Beyond Two Souls is really good, but I was yelling at my mouse at times because my mouse was saying I failed when I didn't. What do you mean your mouse was saying you failed when you didn't? Was it like bugging out or something? I can't help but relish the sound of the class as people put their things and began to chat amongst themselves. Books, hobbies, movies, music, they all talk about the usual wastes of time you students would be into, released from the hell of algebra and physics. Okay. That sounds annoying. Some hang around to gossip and others skip out into the hall to make phone calls and check their messages. I hop onto the desk with practiced ease. Looks like I might be here a while, so I might as well make myself comfortable. With her head on its side, resting in her arms, Suzu silently sleeps away as people move around her table, paying her little heed. I used to think it's painfully cute, but it's become a wholly normal sight nowadays. My vision of her is momentarily broke as Hanako skitters past me to the door, the blonde Amazon waiting for her outside, as she so often does. At least she has someone to attach herself to, I suppose. There are worse lives than that of Olympa. It was extra funny because I had someone named Nizumi in my chat. What does Nizumi mean? The main attraction funny makes his way towards me. Okay. The main attraction funny makes his way towards me, having carefully gone over his notes and finally packed his stuff away. Nerd. So how well did you do in your exams? Fine. Probably. Isao just grimaces before briefly looking to the slumbering girl ahead of me. It's been interesting to watch him slowly become more used to Yamako's oddities, with the way he treats Suzu perhaps being the clearest sign of it. Her falling asleep or having cataplexy attacks is just a thing that happens, and all you can do is make sure she doesn't hurt herself. But it isn't just her. It isn't just her he treats that way. On the track, he casually talks with the others from the club, and he occasionally helps out the student council with confusion over whether to address the impossibly busty taskmaster or her ever bubbly accomplice. Impossibly busty taskmaster. Well, Shizude wasn't that busty, was she? He's standing on her own 2 feet as a member of the class now. I take a small amount of satisfaction from that, even if my help might not have been much in the scheme of things. And there was times during the QTEs where I was screaming one over and over because I had to spam the button, and it was really a tense scene. Nice. I think I read that. How do you do anyways? She seems to study hard. Some people have to try harder than others, unfortunately. She just finds it hard, or what? It's not that. She's got a pretty good brain up there, actually. How would you do at school if you always felt as tired as she does, though? Plus, there are classes she accidentally naps to. That's a good point. Did you not realize that was gonna be the answer? As the conversation lulls, a glance around the classroom proves we're the last ones here. I wonder why Mewtwo managed to slip out so quietly. So, what are your plans for the holidays? Just messing about at Susie's place, pretty nearby, and there's a beach and everything. You? Going home, I guess. Catching up with friends and all that? Friends? I don't really have any left there. Beyond meeting my mother and father, I don't really know what I'll do. Isao has a habit of delivering difficult news with a terrible stilted smile. I can't help but feel a little bit of pity for him. Despite how little he may want that. He might do well in class, but I'd know better than most how school isn't everything. An idea forms in my head, which only seems better the more I think about it. Hey, why didn't you come with me to Suzu's? You sure about that? I'm not even sure she likes me. Believe me, she's cool with you. It'll be fun, don't worry about it so much. Oh my god, they go into like the summer house that Lily went to, or we went to with Lily. If she's okay with it. Come on, lighten up, you survived exams, now's your time to enjoy yourself. Besides, shouldn't a man be pleased to spend a summer with 2 girls? He could do this, we can do that. He tries his best not to look interested as I wildly grin and move my hands suggestively. Oh god, here's the chuckle box. Anyways, 2 a.m. so I'm returning. Alright, have a good sleep. Thanks for the raid, I appreciate it. Have a good night.
You shouldn't talk like that, Miki. People might think you're serious, especially with you being you.
Haru's eyes flipped to the side for a second. I just smirked before addressing Yukio. Who says I'm joking?
You're not seriously thinking of hanging out with this loser, are you?
I don't see anything wrong with the offer.
I'll keep an eye on the obituaries.
Come on, she's not that rough, is she? Yukio and Haru both snort, shaking his head and looking away respectively. All I do is give a flat face, but the possibility of them telling him is there. Hisao doesn't seem the type to hold a grudge, especially after he's forgiven me for poking around his room, but he equally seems concerned for those weaker than he. It's only now that Yukio notices Suzu in front of me, walking past my desk to get closer. He reaches out towards her, but I quickly intervene. Oi, hands off. What are they doing to her?
Since when were you in charge of her?
I think Hisao's getting a sense of when Yukio and I were about to start going off at one another. He quickly steps in before things escalate once again, making his friend, however reluctantly, back away from Suzu. So, I'm guessing you guys came for a reason?
Just wanted to see you if you lot wanted to come to Shanghai with us.
Don't see why not, Miki. I'll stay here. Go and have your fun. But it's fine. See you guys tomorrow. Ah, rude. Isao doesn't look pleased with the idea of leaving a comrade behind, but Yukio swings an arm around his neck and drags him out with he and Haru. I give it an easy wave as they leave the classroom before turning back to my charge. And so the classroom goes quiet. All I'm left to do is idly gaze out the window. Summer holidays. The words roll off my tongue with ease. I'm excited for them, I know. I know I've been looking forward to them, that's for sure. The topic's been out of my mind for a good long time. Now that they're actually here, though, I can't quite pin down the feelings around them. I can't tell, like, how long it has passed, because... Oh, wait, no, it said... So no, I thought Hisao was there for a whole year, but summer holidays is, like, the end of the year, right? So is it... And they had their exams, so if they... Has he already been here a year? But instead they've been here a month, like, a few days ago. So it can't have been that long, so I'm confused unless summer holidays are different in Japan. Maybe they're different, I don't know. It's usually the end of the year though. Or maybe they're... I actually don't know. Maybe their school year starts differently. Now that they're actually here though, I can't quite pin down my feelings about them. Maybe it's less the holidays themselves giving me cold feet so much as what they signify. This is the last summer holiday before we graduate high school after all. I should be happy with how things are right now. My carefree days with Suzu, Haru, Hisao, Yukio, and the other guys in track club and class have been some of the best I've had since the accident after all. But those days will be over in a few months. A movement from Suzu's desk catches my attention, the girl finally stirring from her long nap. Blinking heavily and obviously still dazed, she picks herself up a little and groggily glances around while still half asleep. It's only after scanning the room that she catches sight of my legs, following them up to my gently grinning face. She simply turns to look out the window as I'd been before. Maybe she's still disorientated from us sleeping, apathetic towards my presence, or simply has nothing to say. In any case, she doesn't bother to say a word as she gazes out at the bright summer scene outside, resting her head in her hands as always. I should be annoyed with her apathy for my sticking around here for her sake, but I can't even pretend to be. Maybe this is what it's like to be a doting parent, forgiving their daughters impoliteness and as lovable quirks. The more simple answer is that I'm just used to being treated like this by her. I wonder what she'd do with her life. Suzu's terribly shy, but that isn't unheard of. It's not like she's anywhere near Ikazawa's level. She's never expressed any kind of ambition though, nor should she have any particular talents beyond a good work ethic. You know how I'm coming over to your place for the holidays, right? Yes. I invited Hisao. I kind of invited us out. Suzu just sighs. She briefly turns back to check my reaction before going to look outside. I can't even read her expression like this. I guess it's fine. Yay! It'll be great. I promise. He's a cool dude. Is that really why you invited him? How do you mean? You just want a threesome, don't you? He doesn't like being pitied. Nobody does. She really knows how to put me in my place sometimes. Is it really bad to try and do the right thing by someone though? I just want to make him happy, just like I want Suzu, Haru, and Yukio to be happy. That's normal for friends, right? Don't worry about it. Summer holidays are just for relaxing, remember? We should make the most of them while they last. What is this? Oh, wait, I remember this person. Yeah, they like... So, there we go. Why are they last? I see now. She's been pondering the same things I have. It pains me a little how I can't give her any advice on the matter. If I could find any answers, I'd give them. All I can do is stay beside her as I've always done. Given that she stayed at my side all this time, she must think the same. I give a quick nod to a passing first year girl as I make my way back to my dormitory room. My hand occupied by a soft drink can. She's always got a can in her hand. She returns the greeting as we pass, her eyes momentarily linger on the arms bared by my tank top before we pass each other. At least that's the one thing I can be proud of. Another girl stands not far from my room, leaning against the wall and tapping away frantically on her phone. I might as well not existed for all the attention she gives me as I pass her and enter my dorm room, closing the door with a push with my foot. The bed gives a soft thump as I fall onto it, sitting up and opening the can afterwards. I try to focus on things I need to do, such as packing a bag for my outing to Susie's, but I can't get my mind off what I was pondering earlier. Nothing lasts forever. If I've learned anything in my life, that'll be it. That's not inherently a good or bad thing, it just is. Might as well ask for why winters are cold and summers are hot. I give the upturned cover box in the center of my room a makeshift table that ended up just the right size for the job. I kick out of boredom. My aging phone falls off with a clunk, but I'm hardly worried. The thing's practically indestructible, has been proven many times over. Some of us will go to the great universities, others to menial jobs, and a few will go to family businesses. Most of the students here have long stories ahead of them, of which high school is but one small chapter. For me, graduation is as final as the period at the end of a sentence. They might not say it, but I always suspect the same thing has run through the minds of Suzu and Hisao. Yukio and Haru have their futures planned out as a politician and baker respectively. The other two, not so much. But I'm sure they'll both be fine. They're both good people and I know how to work hard once their hearts are set to a task. I have my shot and I blew it. Eventually our carefree days will end. These summer holidays will be our last distraction from that looming future. Oh my god, that is fucking loud. A sudden ringing breaks me away from my thoughts. Setting the can on the corner of my desk, I hurriedly got off my bed and scoured the noisy phone from the floor as it skitters about, vibrating away. And then on the display, it's instantly recognizable. Hi, Dad. I always feel like I'm on the tenterhooks when I talk to him like this. Not at all when I'm talking to him face to face, but something about yakking away to a disembodied voice always puts me off. His deep voice is warm and boisterous as always, and entirely too loud for what's appropriate over the phone.
What did I tell you about calling me sometimes?
I know, I've just been busy.
Exams, right? I hope you've done better than last year's effort. They were terrible.
So, what's going on? Yeah, real smooth. I bet he didn't catch that diversion at all. Thankfully, he just grumbles a bit before moving on. I'll get an earful once the results come in, no doubt.
Just wondering if you wanted to come up here. I finally got some of the rooms cleared, so we'd actually have space for you if you wanted to bring anyone.
Thinking back, a good half of the houses tended to be a complete mess. Since we never used the rooms, they ended up being filled with this and that, rarely ever even dusted, let alone properly organised. At a summer at home, I've already made arrangements with Susie, but I could probably twist her arm into coming with me. Same goes for Hisao. It's been so long since I've been there, simply no point really. It's quite some way from here to travel, and beyond my father, there was nobody to meet or play with. If I had Hisao and Susie for company, though, it might not be so boring. But I'd agree to go to Suzu's, which has been a fun experience, an opportunity to show Hisao the country there. Oh my god, a choice!
Follow existing plan.
As much as the idea may tempt me, I told Suzu that I'd stay with her family. I kind of already promised Suzuki I'd stay with her, sorry.
Don't worry, as long as you're spending the time with someone, it's fine. Drop around at some point though, it's been too long since I've seen you.
I will, don't worry. I'll give you a call later, okay?
Just take it easy, Miki. I love you.
I know, I love you too. I hate saying that over the phone.
And your exam results are better than the last time you heard me.
All that can be heard afterwards is the phone beeping. Son of a bitch.
Or I'll disown you.
Act 2. Suzu. With classes over for the day and most club activities winding up this semester. Shall I leave it there? My voice is getting a bit dry. But yeah, what's that, 2.5 hours?